just always forget to do it. Also, I want to apologize. We have not been starting completely on time. I want to apologize about that. I'm going to try better to start completely on time. So yesterday morning, just so we can be clear, we were covering a couple of things I want to say before we actually get to the show. So if you're coming in here after the fact, you might want to fast forward to about the 8-minute mark. So real quick, a couple of things I want to say. Just about the last show, I meant to go live last night. So I went and exercised some, and I was just absolutely exhausted. And so I felt like I was exhausted. So I didn't think that I would be able to come on and give you the energy and the presentation that was required for the show. So therefore, we didn't do it. Also, this whole last week, I got like 2 interviews that I did that I'm supposed to be editing. As y'all already know, I have the issues or whatever with the computer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out a way. I think I'm just gonna use an app or a program or something like that, so we can get a couple of these videos out that we're supposed to be editing. They're going to be on Instagram for the time being, and at one point or another, I'm gonna bring them over to YouTube. But they're gonna be on Instagram. Shout out to everybody that did an interview with me in the last 2 weeks. I haven't been able to edit the videos the appropriate way, and that's the only reason why they're not currently uploaded. And on top of that, we've been in court, so I've been a little bit busy, just so we can be clear. Also, we are going to be pulling up to the Donald Trump court dates. I want y'all to know. I believe that's going to be in the federal court building. I want to give a shout out to everybody. I think that's 111 Center Street we're at currently. I want to give a shout out to all of the people that work in that building. You guys have been great. I'm going to be back, obviously, at some point or another, because this is what we do. But we will be moving up the block to the federal building. The last time we was in there, it's been incredible. Also, I'm not sure which one of those buildings we're going to be in, but we're going to be in one of the federal buildings when we're going to be covering the Donald Trump case. I'm assuming the Donald Trump case is in the federal building, just so we can be clear. We're going to be in one of those buildings, so we will be covering Donald Trump. Also, I have been not sure if we're going to cover the K-Flock, but I think we are going to cover the K-Flock, actually. I think we are going to cover the K-Flock, just so we could be clear. I think we are going to cover the K-Flock. At one point or another, I'm going to put some questions up on our community feed. As you probably know, I haven't been publishing anything on the community feed as of late. That's because of the computer issues. But at some point or another, I'm going to try to get some stuff up on the community feed to see which cases y'all would actually like for us to get involved in. Now, with that being said, let me go grab one of these books over here. We'll grab all 3 of these books over here. With that being said, we will be covering, like I said, we will be covering K-Flock whenever the hell that happens. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but whenever the K-Flock situation happens, we will be covering K-Flock. We will be covering Donald Trump. We cover court cases over here. I hope everybody likes what we're doing over here. I hope everybody appreciates what we're doing over here. It's actually pretty time consuming. And for everybody that don't know, my day doesn't end when I leave the courtroom. Obviously, I have to literally go through the books. That makes it easier for me to be able to find the information. I'm also going to recategorize everything, and got to rewrite everything over, and I have to put it in a more digestible form so we can even create more content out of this, so I can give even a better understanding of what's actually happening. What up, Rafael Figueroa? I haven't seen you in a while. Salute. So we can get even a better understanding of what actually happened in the courtroom. Now, as far as the courtroom is concerned, now as far as Donald Trump, gonna say Troy, I'm gonna say Donald Trump. Now, as far, what up, Latasha Jordan? What up, T Dollar Sign? Now, as far as that is concerned, I also want to say, as far as everybody that's been involved in this this theater, this court case, the prosecution, the defense, the judge have all been exemplary. All been doing great jobs. I think the judge has been extremely fair in doing what the judge does, and I think that the prosecution has put on a really good case, and I think that the defense have did everything that they can do with what they have. I think that everybody has done a great job. I don't think anybody was slacking. I just want to be clear on that. So no matter what happens, no matter what the verdict is that comes back from the jury, I do not think that anybody could blame any of these people's involved. The only thing that could happen, let's say if there is a guilty verdict, the only thing that could happen at this point is if somebody comes forward with new information. I don't think that this is a ground. I haven't seen anything that's grounds for an appeal. And I'm actively in the court looking to see if there's reasons for grounds of appeal. Just so we can be clear, I'm actively looking, as always. That's my job. Okay? I'm doing my job the best I can do my job. And part of that is looking to see if there is grounds of an appeal. I haven't seen one so far. Also, I just do YouTube videos. I don't have I haven't passed the bar. So what the hell do I know? But as far as we know, I've been pretty accurate with telling y'all what's gonna happen. I've been telling y'all what's gonna happen in court months before court even takes place sometimes. So I think that I have at least a rudimentary understanding of the judicial process, just so we can be clear. With that being said, today we're gonna go over the. We didn't do it last show because I just figured it'd take too long. We didn't do it last show because I just figured it'd take too long. So we're gonna go over, just so we can be clear. If you coming in here and you talking about anything else other than this case, I'm gonna kick you. I'm just letting you know what it is. I don't want to deal with it. Well, I gotta tell people what's coming up. Like, I gotta tell people what to expect, right? Like, I gotta tell people what we have plans on in the future, right? To a degree. Yeah, if you coming in here and you talking about anything that don't got to do with what we talking about, I'm kick you. I'm letting you know right now. If you coming in here trying to distract me and trying to do any kind of weirdo shit, I'm just gonna kick you. I don't want to deal with it. If you want to make jokes or whatever you're doing, let it revolve around the conversation that we're having. That's all I ask. If you want to say something weirdo, funny shit, just don't let it be directed at me. That's all I ask. Because when you get kicked, I don't want to hear, yo, Jack is kicking everybody. No, I'm not kicking everybody. I'm kicking you niggas specifically. I'm not kicking everybody. People love to be the problem and they act like somebody is mad at the whole world when they're just mad at you. It's you. It's not everybody. It's you. People are weirdos, man. People love being the problem and they act like, oh man, I don't know what happened. I'm not 100% sure if there's even court tomorrow, but I'm showing up in the building. I don't know what to tell you. I can't remember if they said there's no court tomorrow or if there is court tomorrow. In any regard, I'm going to be there. The Mr. David says, I'm just going to call you David. David says, a close of arguments tomorrow or Tuesday. I missed that piece of the info and great work on the case. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that supports what we're doing over here. There's people that obviously don't support what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? They want it to look like I'm talking to them. When I'm talking to them, I'm talking to all of you. I'm not. When I'm talking to them, I'm talking to them. With that being said, we're gonna start right now. I said the 8-minute mark. No. Usually both sides do closing arguments, and then the jury goes back to deliberate. Closing argument shouldn't take 3 hours for one side to close their argument. I mean, and if it does take that long, you're basically doing a case. And if it does take that long, you might lose the jury, right? So you probably want closing arguments to be anywhere between 20 minutes to 45 minutes, right? I'm just assuming you want to go over whatever the narrative is, and you want to bring up any points or aspects that you want the jury to remember. and you want to speak about how the other side might have failed at whatever they were trying to do. Like that's what I would assume you would want to do. I don't think you want to have the jury sitting there for 4 hours while you close an argument, and then you know that you're gonna lose them. They're not even gonna be able to retain all of that information. And just so we're clear, mostly I just use my notes. I remember everything that happened. For the general reason why I keep my notes is so I can make sure that they're in order and in a digestible format, so I can say it back to you guys as quickly as possible. With that, also shout out to the Most High. Today is Sunday. This isn't actually the Sabbath, but this is the Sabbath that most of you guys recognize. So every day we should be worshiping the Most High. Every day we should be trying to figure out how we could be better um, avatar, better purveyors, better dispenser, better how we can better ourselves in the light of the Most High and disseminate that to the public. With that being said, opening statements. I mean, the defense at this point is cross-examining Troy Ave. I'm going to set all of this up real quick. So Troy Ave comes off of the prosecution's direct. The direct was extremely damning. I'm going to explain why. As all directs should be, just so we could be clear. But in the direct, a couple of things that Troy Ave had said, just so we could be clear, is that he pulls up. Okay, so Troy Ave's direct testimony actually, in my belief, had two problems that should be beneficial to TAXSTONE. We spoke about one of those the other day. I'll recap that part. Shout out to Mixed Tut, said his tax faces second or first degree murder. They already had, I believe, first degree murder on the ballot. He's already facing that. And right now, this is why I think there is court on Monday. Right now, the prosecution is switching and would like to add manslaughter. Just so we can be clear, the prosecution would like to now add manslaughter. So whereas previously what they was charging them was for murder one, now the prosecution would like to add manslaughter. There's a ton of reasons why they would, and all of the lesser charges basically. Like they was charging them with the most you could charge, the highest charges. Now the prosecution want to add all the lesser charges. That would lead an individual to believe that they might not have think that they put on the best case that they could have put on, or at least the trial didn't go the way that they thought it would go. I specifically think the reason why they added the lesser charges was because homegirl took the stand, Miss Ibrahim. She took the stand, and when she took the stand, she might have allowed for there to be, he didn't intend on causing the situation that he caused, or not even saying he caused it, but there was no intent, there was no malice, disregard, there wasn't any it wasn't a preconceived thing. It wasn't something that he thought about doing beforehand. I think that that's one of the things that her testimony might have accentuated. I think that there's other testimonies that would lead people to believe that also. But I think that when she testified specifically is when they decided that they were going to go for also the lesser charges and not just the max highest charge, just so we can be clear. I think that literally was done because of the testimony of Miss Ibrahim. Somebody in one of the chats, one of the comments had said that should be illegal to charge somebody with murder one and manslaughter. Like that should be illegal. It is what it is, fam. And I think, and this goes to one of the points that I'm just about to speak about before we talk about the cross examination of Troy Ave. I should have named the show the cross examination of Troy Ave. Sheesh. In any regard, Troy Ave's and actually, hold on. Shout out to Angelina. Shout out to Angelina. Angelica is Starfire, by the way. One of the Spidey friends, the chick that she's the mutant, and she actually manipulates microwaves. It's not fire, actually. It's microwaves. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So actually, this is something that people don't get. If you're charged with whatever crime you're charged for, they can also choose lesser charges most of the time. They don't have to go for the number one top count. Like if you're charged for, the judge said this in court. So basically the judge said this. Shout out to Judge Cott. So Judge Cott said, just so we can be clear, they said that they wanted to change and also add all of this manslaughter charges, and also with the other charges, when the other people just got shot and they didn't get killed, they just got shot. They also want to change those lower charges or add lower charges on those also. And the judge said, why would you do that? Because they can still vote for those charges. By you just adding all of these charges, you might be confusing them. And you're giving the jury a way out, because some of the people might not, he might be found not guilty of the capital offense. But some people might want to, the judge didn't say this, I'm saying this part. But some people might want to, in order to give a little, get a little, say okay to a lesser offense. Whereas if it was only murder one, he might beat it all the way, flat out. So the judge basically said, well, all of the lesser charges are always applicable anyway. You don't have to, you understand what I'm saying? Like the lesser charges are also applicable. And I'm not talking about in the murder one manslaughter part. I'm talking about with the shooting the shooting and the injury part. The lesser charges are also applicable. So the judge believes by adding all of these charges, you might be confusing the jury. They don't care. I think it sounds, and I'm not saying that they're desperate, but it has a waif of desperation in the air. That's all I could say. I'm not saying that they're desperate. I think that this was always the plan if the Ibrahim girl testified, just so we can be clear. Independent of whatever she was going to say is, I think her testimony, don't matter what she was going to say. Her testimony, period, is why they decided to add all the other charges. And just so we can be clear, her testimony actually coincides with what Troy Ave said happened. I'm just going to repeat this real quick, and then we're going to get to the cross-examining of Troy Ave. Also, we got 84 people in here. Can we hit that like button, see if we can get up to 100 people? Now, look. Check this out, and I want to be clear about this. Troy Ave says that they saw him. Wait, Troy Ave says that he was taking pictures with people chilling, and he heard somebody say was popping. He heard somebody say was popping again, but he didn't know who it was initially. Then Benga turns around and says something to him, and Troy Ave realizes who's saying was popping because he sees somebody else that's always with the other dude, or he knows that there's mutual problems with that person being on the same side against him. Right? At that point, when Benga says, yeah, he's going to rock him, Troy Ave winks at him and basically gives him the go sign. And when Benga turns around to get ready to hit him, Troy Ave hits him first. Now, what homegirl says is that she was just in the room minding her business and everybody bum rushed TAXSTONE. That's basically the same damn story. Now you see why I don't be trying to get too cool with anybody? Because the minute I say some shit niggas don't like, the same people that was hee-hawing with me a day ago Now they don't fuck with me no more. You know what I'm saying? So no disrespect to nobody, but this is why I don't be so quick to try to be hee-hawing with this guy and taking pictures with that guy, as I know what I do for a living. I say shit niggas don't want to hear for a living. That's what I do. I know what I do. In any regard. In any regard. The defense gets the witness. The first thing he says is, and this is important, and just so I think this is important. The first thing he says is, because remember, just so we can get an understanding of what the defense is trying to do, the defense is trying to show that Troy Ave is not a good guy. They weren't allowed to bring in things that they considered to be evidence because it didn't specifically directly apply to this case. One of those situations was a shooting that allegedly that did happen where Banger was locked up and Troy Ave bailed him out. So Troy Ave had nothing to do with that. So they weren't able to question Troy Ave on that, but the defense wanted to question Troy Ave on that, just so we could be clear. So one of the first things that they say is Troy Ave made songs disparaging Banger's family and disparaging Hovein's ex-wife. They said Troy Ave talked about this from day one. From day one, Troy Ave talked about the shooting. He said, Troy Ave spoke about the case in songs. Troy Ave is agreeing to all of this, by the way. He's asking questions and Troy Ave is saying, yeah. Troy Ave says his art is reality. They ask him. He agrees. Troy Ave did podcasts talking about the case with DJ Academics, Breakfast Club, Math Hoffa. Wish he would have said BBN. Because he did. They also said Troy Ave talked about Young Lido, talked about Cass, talked about Trife. So just so we could be clear, as soon as Troy Ave did all of the talking, and as soon as the defense got the opportunity to speak with him, the first thing they wanted to point out is that Troy Ave is not a very likable individual. Now, with that being said, they also didn't like Jesus. So I don't know what to tell you. But Troy Ave is not a very likable person. But the one thing that they wanted to denote was one of the reasons why Troy Ave isn't very likable, because Troy Ave is aggressively going after others. Pay attention to what the narrative is. I'm going to say this again. The first thing the defense said was, did he make songs disparaging Banger's family and Hovein's ex-wife? He agreed. He also agreed that he talked about this from day one through text messaging, if not anything else. Shout out to D. Candyman, salute. Also said he spoke about the case in songs. Also says that his art is reality. Pay attention. Also, just so we can be clear, said that he did podcasts to talk about the case with DJ Academics, Breakfast Club, and Math Hoffa. Also, just so we can be clear, said he talked about Young Lido, talked about Cass, and talked about Trife. Trife is Banger's brother. R.I.P. Banger. R.I.P. Hovein. They said he agreed to help. He has signed an agreement to help in April. Okay? So basically, this situation happened. And ever since this situation happened, they're saying Troy Ave has been harassing TAXSTONE, has been harassing Young Lido, has been harassing Casanova, and has been harassing Trife. I just want to be clear on this. This is what they're trying to say. Also, he harassed Banger's family, and he harassed Hovein's wife. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm just telling you what was said in court. He agreed that he did a proffer in signing a cooperation agreement. February 8th was the first time that he actually met with the prosecution. But that was after TAXSTONE or TAXSTONE's lawyer, somebody, sent a letter to the judge. Now, let me see if I could snatch. Where's my other phone? I'm going to snatch up the letter from the judge. We're going to read the letter from the judge real quick. Why not, right? Hold on, give me 1 second. I got to do two things real quick. I always forget to do. All right, so I'm going to read the letter to the judge real quick. Is this the whole letter or is this like half of the letter? What the hell, fam? All right, so I'm going to read the letter from the judge real quick. It's dated, what's the fourth month? May? April? April 11th, 2017. It says, the New York County District Attorney's Office immediately arrested and indicted an individual by the name of Roland Collins, aka Troy Ave. Mr. Collins is recording artist whose artistry is filled with the glorification of narcotic sales, shootings, and the possession of firearms. Mr. Collins has also had members of his entourage assault other recording artists. Members of Mr. Collins' entourage were also involved Members of Mr. Collins' entourage was also involved in another club shooting whereby an innocent bystander was shot and injured in a New York City club. Specifically, a member of Mr. Collins' entourage, who is known as Benga, was charged with the shooting in New York County in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. At the time of the incident that occurred on April 25th, 2016, Benga was out on bail for the shooting incident. During the incident on April 25th, 2016, was shot and subsequently died. Mr. Collins was investigated as to that incident and charged. To date, Mr. Campbell, unlike Mr. Collins, has not been charged by state prosecutors. The firearm charged in the incident against Mr. Campbell was recovered from a vehicle associated with Mr. Collins, along with 2 other illegal firearms. Mr. Collins is observed on video surveillance firing that same weapon in which Mr. Campbell is accused of possessing. The government alleges that there is DNA present on the firearm of Mr. Campbell as well as 2 other individuals. As the court is aware, both parties are currently awaiting the OCME DNA file. Mr. Collins is currently being charged with possession of this firearm, attempted murder, and other related charges in Manhattan Supreme Court, stemming from the incident on May 25th, 2016. Mr. Collins is currently, pardon me, April 25th, 2016. Mr. Collins is currently out on $500,000 bail. Mr. Campbell has not been charged by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office in regards to the incident. It may be a year since the incident, and Mr. Campbell has yet to be charged. Procedural history. I'm going to skip a little. I'll read it all. This is just procedural history. Mr. Campbell was arrested at his home in Brooklyn, January 16, 2017, by the New York City Police Department without incident. January 17, 2017, arraignment before Magistrate Judge Peck. Case number, document number. The government sought detention at the initial arraignment. Pretrial services deemed the defendant eligible for bail. Despite the government's request for detention, Magistrate Peck set bail at $500,000. Personal recognizance bond to be co-signed by 5 financially responsible persons, and further secured a $350,000 cash or property travel restricted to the Southern Eastern District of New York. Surrendered all travel documents and passports, strict pretrial supervision with drug testing and treatment, home detention, and electric monitoring. January 18th, 2017, appeal before District Court Judge Lewis A. Kaplan. Judge Kaplan revoked the bail by the Magistrate Peck. Judge Kaplan made his decision on the danger to the community and reserved his decision on the risk of flight. Bail argument. The government during both prior bail arguments implied there was a possibility of much. I have to get another page. More serious allegations being filed against Mr. Campbell. To date, Mr. Campbell is not indicted in the state or federal court with any allegations of assault or murder. It is undisputed that Mr. Campbell is gainfully employed as a podcaster for the Loudspeakers Network, which is located in 42 Broadway, New York, New York. In fact, the government has alleged in their narrative for detention that Mr. Campbell's motive for the crime stemmed from comments made on his podcast. The government has also made The government has also made assertions concerning Mr. Campbell's prior gang membership. It's public knowledge and evident in several episodes of Mr. Campbell's podcast that he is against gang membership and denounces gang membership. Mr. Campbell's podcast is a variety show that is diversified in topics as well as guests. In fact, Huffington Post has described Mr. Campbell's podcast as one of the most intriguing podcasts shown 2016. After several mistakes in life, Mr. Campbell has made efforts to change his life around and seek redemption through his occupation. As case, in this couple of case numbers, a podcaster and music entertainment insider, Mr. Campbell, prior to being detained, was a regular on MTV and a frequent guest on Vice TV. The incident in April 25th, 2016, May 25th, I keep saying April, May 25th, 2016, has been widely reported. Mr. Campbell has traveled extensively domestically and internationally since the incident. Mr. Campbell has traveled extensively, no reason, I don't know why I'm repeating this, domestically and internationally since the incident. He has traveled extensively only to return to his home in East New York, Brooklyn. When Mr. Campbell was made aware that he was sought for arrest, he promptly retained legal counsel. At no point in time since May 25th, 2016, has Mr. Campbell been a risk of flight. The criminal matter against Mr. Campbell is not overwhelming. The case hinges on forensic evidence as well as eyewitness testimony. Forensically, the government has alleged that other individuals was in possession of the firearm that Mr. Campbell was under indictment for. In fact, the government concedes that Mr. Collins is observed in the video shooting the firearm. The government concedes that the firearm was recovered from a vehicle associated with Mr. Campbell and his entourage. Mr. Campbell has been charged with serious allegations in state concerning the same narrative of facts stemming from the incident in May 25th, 2016, and currently out on bail. Conclusion: based on the above reasons, the defense will request that Your Honor consider reinstating the bail conditions set January 17, 2017 by Magistrate Peck. Respectfully, attorneys concerning. Okay, so Esquires. So a couple of things I want to say real quick. Obviously, I wanted to read the letter. So Troy Ave says that letter is what prompted him to help. What up, Christopher Brathwaite? What up, Rule? That letter is what actually, I just Googled the letter, by the way. That's all I did. I just Googled the letter. I Googled the letter. Like, you could literally just Google the letter. I just Googled the letter and read it back to y'all. Content. So we could all be on the same page. And I don't know who did or didn't hear it. So I just Googled the letter. This is not no super secret thing that I have. It's just literally on Google. In any regard, and on the back of Troy Ave's new jerseys, Troy Ave has merch that got the letter on the back. I don't know what to tell you over here. With that being said, Troy Ave also said, what up, Brooklyn? What up, Rude? Don't nobody see them dots. Jones. Also, just for everybody to be clear, it is said that Troy Ave said himself that the only reason why he, or what was the thing that preceded him helping the government, what was the impetus of him helping the government, was this letter. This letter dropped, and he was like, oh man, I got to do something. And that's actually was the reason in which why he decided he was going to help the government. So that was when he decided to help the government, just so we could be clear. That was the impetus for all of him. I'm looking for a thing. For him deciding he was going to help the government. It was this letter. That's what he said. When we get to 50 likes, I'm going to read some comments. When we get to 50 likes, I'm going to read some comments. Give me a second. When we get to 50 likes, I'm going to read some comments for a couple of minutes. So if y'all want me to read some comments, get to 50 likes. I'll engage with y'all. Give me 1 second. Get to 50 likes, I'm going to read some comments. All right, so Boom, there you go. You wanted to get kicked. I kicked you. In any regard, also, I'm the only one covering this case, by the way, and other YouTubers actually follow me. I was the first one that used to do that. I was the first one that said that I'm not going to talk until we get a certain amount of likes. I was the first one that did that. Videos are still up. Don't worry about it. Videos are still up. I was the first nigga to do that. And people made fun of, and the haters made fun of me for doing that, just so we could be clear. What up? Yeah, the haters made fun of me for doing that, just so we could be clear. I was the first person to do that. I don't watch nobody's page, by the way. Any regard. So February 8th was the first time he actually had a meeting with the prosecution. So I want to explain these proffers real quick. So before the government actually signs off on allowing for you to actually work with them, you have to go and do these things called proffers, where they can't be allowed, like you got to go tell them stuff, making sure that you have viable information. I'm going to say this again. You got to go sit down with the government and discuss things with them so they can make sure that you have viable information, because it don't make sense for them doing a deal with somebody that don't know nothing. It don't make sense. So they're not trying to do a deal with somebody that they're not going to get anything in return. Whenever you see somebody do a deal with the government, they gave the government something of value. So they have these proffer sessions. Now, these proffer sessions generally is going to be a couple of different sessions over a certain amount of time. And then around that amount of time, if some of the information that you've given actually pays off, that's when they decide that they're actually going to, okay, the information that this person is supplying is actually helpful in the case that we're trying to get help for, or the information that this person is actually supplying is truthful. That's more than anything. It's truthful, and we're able to actually use it and apply it in what we're trying to do, just so we could be clear. So his first proffer Angelina, I'm going to read this. Says, no one has actually read the letter, just going off of what the other YouTubers that live in their mother's dingy basement are saying. Wait, other YouTubers are talking about me? I don't know what to tell you, fam. I'm not talking about nobody. We're talking about the case. In any regard, the first proffer was on February 8th. Now, I'll tell you this now so we can stay in content and with the understanding about what's going on. The first proffer was on February 8th. I believe April... Also, when I put these together in 10-minute formats, 10 to 15-minute formats, it's going to be absolutely incredible, because the prosecution has everything mapped out just in incredible format. I just want to say that. The prosecution had everything mapped out in just an incredible format. Like, everything the prosecution did was formatted. And that's why it seems like when the prosecution is doing their case, they're repeating shit over and over again, because they are repeating things and they're putting it in the appropriate areas. So he actually signed the cooperation agreement, on April 26, 2017. That's when he signed the cooperation agreement. But the first time he spoke with the government was on February 8th, 2017, February 8th, 2017. That's the first time he met with the government, and they signed the actual agreement April 26, 2017, just so y'all know. In any regard, he was directly asked, did they jump TAXSTONE? Troy Ave said no, they did not. Although he did literally, anyway, he said no, they did not. We're going to stay over here. And then He dissed the lawyer's suit on the stand. Yeah, he did. So they asked about the bullying, apparently, right? So he said what he agrees is bullying is like, it's because basically they were saying TAXSTONE was bullying him. So he was, what he's saying, TAXSTONE was trying to bully him. TAXSTONE was harassing him, pardon me. TAXSTONE was harassing him, pardon me. So what he said was this, like, it's like, you know, when you got a pair of pants that don't match this jacket. It's like when you got, and just so we are clear, if you work, no, oh, so that's Chris. Yo, what up, Chris? Salute. I have not spoke to Shock in a while. You spelled his name wrong, but I know who you're talking about. I haven't spoke to Shock in a while. If you get in contact with him, have him contact me. Also, DM me, you rat bastard. What are you doing over here? I could use some people to do skits with, and you still in New York City? If you still in New York City, somebody put my Instagram in the chat. Fucking hit me up, you rat bastard. What are you doing? I could use some people to do skits with. I trust you. Anyway, in any regard. You spoke to Tory lately? Anyway, in any regard. I knew that was you. I asked you, was that you the last time you came in here? Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Arthur D. Glass. Salute. Yo, Chris. Hold on, Chris. Chris, I'm sorry, everybody. Yo, Chris, I'm sorry, everybody. Yo, Chris, was I not a beast in hoop? Was I not a beast on the court? Was I not a beast in basketball? Was I not a beast? Was I not a fucking beast? Didn't I used to go to the court and win every single fucking game? Let's get back to the story. Did I not used to go to the park and win every game? Did I not used to go throw the team on my fucking back? There you go. You've been trying to watch me? You can get out of here. I just kick people. I don't want to argue with you, so I just kick you. And if I don't like your name, I'm not commenting back to anything that you say. In any regard, let's get back to the story. And yes, if you ever watch this page, I might take a minute or two to decompress and talk about some other shit. Just so you know. Anyway, if you don't like my style, you don't got to be over here. I want my people. I don't want everybody. Copy? I want my people. With that being said. So this dude dissed the lawyer on the court. Now, with that being said, in the courtroom. Now, with that being said, if you are a professional, you don't have a closet full of freaking $1 million fucking outfits. You got about 5 or 6 different suits, and you just mix and match them bitches for the most part. Unless, you just mix and match them bitches. You might have a couple of outfits for whenever you got to show up on a big day, because, you know, you got to look nice. But you have a couple of damn outfits. That's it. That's just the way that shit work. So he was dissing this nigga, saying, yeah, it's like if somebody called you a bum because your jacket don't match your pants. He said, now, if somebody said, yo, you a bum, your jacket don't match your pants, that's one thing. Before somebody that didn't say, yo, look at this guy, everybody. Look, pay attention to him. He's a bum. He don't even know how to dress. and then Esquire said, yeah, like if somebody was on the stand with crocodile tears. For everybody that don't know, Troy Ave cried on the stand. And a lot of people said the tears was fake. I'm not here for that. I'm not saying the tears was fake. I'm not saying the tears wasn't. Just so we could be clear. So he went, they actually went back and forth, and I want to shout out to the judge for allowing it. I want to shout out to the judge for allowing it, just so we could be clear. I think I understand that we're in court to do court, right? But if you have a defense or a prosecution, and the prosecutor's trying to knock the witness off of a pivot so they could then do the best thing for their client or do the best thing for the government, you have to allow a little bit of leeway for these people to go back and forth. Letitia said all the lawyers look like bums. My chick, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna, if you're a lawyer, you really gonna go buy fucking $20,000 suits? That don't make sense. R.I.P. Banger, that's a fact. You're not gonna go buy $20,000 suits. Why would you do that? You're gonna go get a whole bunch of polyester shit, preferably just depending on which colors you want to look like in court. You're gonna go get a whole bunch of polyester shit. Another reason why I call the prosecution, I decided all prosecutors from now on is gonna be part of the Sith. I decided that. All prosecutors from now on is gonna be Sith. And one of the reasons is prosecutors generally always wear black and dark clothes. Just so we, Troy Ave situation and TAXSTONE situation are two different situations. Just so we could be clear. I'm going to finish a little bit more of this. We're at 50 likes. I'm going to finish a little bit more of this. And then I'm going to get directly to what y'all saying in the comment section. So drop your comments because I'm going to scroll up a little and then I'm going to start reading them. All right. So after this goes on, he asked specifically, did they jump TAXSTONE? Troy Ave says no. He says they never used the trap in the vehicle for drugs. He said that, but that's neither here nor there. He said that he was aware Banger would be armed and put illegal weapons in the trap. So he was aware that there were situations that they would go to where Banger needed to have weapons, where Banger needed to have a gun on him. So that's why he put the trap. Also, he knew that there was going to be times that they was going to have, like, drugs for personal use. So they put the trap. Or they was going to have money, a lot of money on them, and a lot of jewelry. And just in case somebody tried to rob them, they put the trap. I'm just giving context. That's all. This is literally what he said in court also. I didn't even need to write that down. I remember. Anyway. He says he didn't fall out with Lito and Hovain over not wanting to take responsibility for the gun. I want to point this out. When the prosecutor was talking to him, they didn't say that Hovain decided later on to not take responsibility for the gun. They made it seem like the whole entire time Hovain was going to take responsibility for the gun. I just want to say that. So Hovain and young Lito had a fallout with Troy Ave. If you remember, in the beginning of the cross-examination, they asked him what happened. He's been talking about in the songs what happened. He also disparaged Banger's family, and he disparaged Hovain's ex-wife. Copy. Yo, hold on, Chris. Tory moved to Arizona? What the hell, fam? Hold on, Chris. Was I beast in basketball or am I capping? Was I a beast in basketball or am I capping? Did I not go to the park and win the whole day most of the time? Or am I capping? Just so we could be clear. I was all right. I ain't fucking with you. I ain't. This is the energy. This is the energy, my nigga. Yes. 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 R.I.P. Banger. That's a fact. He says Scottie Pippen. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that. Says Scottie Pippen. I'll take that. Let's get back to the show. I'll take that. That's a fact. I'll take that. Let's read some of the comments since I obviously took a break to talk to my homie. I grew up with Chris. I took a break to talk to my homie. So we're gonna read some of these comments back right now. Keep hitting that like button. Letitia Jordan says, yeah, he black. I love my peoples. I have no idea why you said that. Angelina says, damn, imagine so-called rich gangsters saying that he's been bullied. I think harassed is more than anything else. I think he's saying that he was harassed. I'm just trying to give better context. Maybe I said it incorrectly, and therefore that's why your comment is what it is. But yes, anybody could be harassed, but not everybody could be bullied. I think those two things are too interchangeable nowadays. There's a difference between being bullied and being harassed. I think nowadays when we see somebody being harassed, we assume they're being bullied. You understand what I'm saying? I think that that's just what the assumption is nowadays, because harassment and bullying is kind of the same thing, but I don't believe they're always interchangeable. That's just me speaking. Somebody's son says Jack was like Kobe out there. My dude, I used to, I don't know, I was getting it. I don't know what to tell you for real, for real. Somebody's son, in any regard. Angelina says, somebody's saying Angelina was right. B says, bullied or harassed. Twitter isn't the streets, people. Internet is the internet. Agreed. No pin, no passes. Facts B. Letitia Jordan says, all these lawyers look like bums on 100 Center Street. I mean, why do you trying to come into court to win a case, man? Also, if you going in front of a jury and you got on the most flashiest duds looking like freaking, I don't know, Scrooge McDuck out here, you're going to create a divide between you and the jury. So you might not want to do that. You might not want to go show up to court every single day looking like somebody paying you $100,000 an hour, even if they are. Rafael Figueroa, salute. Haven't seen you in a while since tax. Letting his Lord do all the talking as he should. Troy babbling away. Air Force says R.I.P. Banger, R.I.P. Banger. B says Tory Lanez let the judge speak for him, and people say he dumb for not defending himself. Come on, people. Tory Lanez is a totally different situation. I don't think Tory Lanez in this specific case is totally different. Not every court case is the same. Copy? This is totally different situations. And not just because somebody lost their life. Like, this is a totally different situation. Arthur D. Glass says, I'm showing up in a simple and tie. Yeah, a suit and tie, ready to work. Call me a bum. That's a fact. Banger was a protector. He handled himself like a man. R.I.P. R.I.P. Banger. Angelina says, shorty calling lawyers making six figures because they don't look fly. She got to be Team Troy. I'm going to skip that one. That was personal. It sounds like I hate humans. I got a problem with humans. That's a fact. I ain't going to let nobody lie to you. I personally have a big problem with humans. Why are we not worshiping the Lord more strongly? Why are we constantly attacking each other for no reason? Why are we always hating on each other? The only person that's hating on human beings is other human beings. So yes, I have an issue with that. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. And the Bible says, just so we could be clear, that if you love the world, you cannot love God. So are you telling me that you got a name like that because you're upset because I love God? Thank you for letting the rest of the world know who you are. Christopher Rathway says, by the way, Tory moved to Arizona. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Move in silence, GIPGP. Why? I know what that is. I don't know why it's not working in my brain right now. Brotherhood, a.k.a. behind the old Yankee Stadium. I told you that's where I pooped. Guy says R.I.P. Banger, R.I.P. Banger says, yo, Frost, Banger would have been the person you always pick first. What, in basketball or just like in general? I was the guy that got picked first a lot. I didn't even like to choose. I didn't like picking teams, to be honest with you. Banger worked out for the league. Oh, wow. Okay. Letitia Jordan says, Angelina Doughboy Troy been bumping in my crib since 2015. Major without a deal. Who is Jordan in? I don't know who he calling Jordan. It was not Christopher. But we went and got a lot of dubs. That's a fact. Tori always thought he was joining, hitting them fake three-pointers. I just want, if you on my team, I just want you to play hard. That's it. And shoot the open shot. That's it. Guy says, no, I just got on copy. Letitia says, them pheno suits gotta go in 2020. In any regard says, how do we get in touch to debate fam? I'm not trying to debate nobody about nothing, because the only people that want to debate me is people I don't like. People I actually like, you don't have to try to get in touch with me to debate me. I already know who you are, and we already in contact. If you asking me to get in touch to debate me, 9 times out of 10, you one of those pages I don't like. Somebody's son says, salute. I did YouTube videos years ago, and I kept getting my channel suspended because I went back to at weirdos in the comments. I wasn't as composed as you. Letitia says, Jordan says, power to the people. B says, let's go, Frost. Most people have an issue with those same things. Speak that word louder. Now, I appreciate you. Like, not for nothing. I'm just me. Like, I don't know how not to be me. I'm just me. You understand? So when people got an issue or they got a problem with me and I'm not for them, I'm fine with that. Because in order for me to be for you, that means I got to change who I am. I don't want to not be who I am. All I want to do is get closer to the Most High. So that's all I'm trying to do. Get closer to the Most High, do the things that the Most High want me to do. I'm not trying to satisfy human beings. I'm just not trying to. That's not nowhere near a goal of mine. No pad, no pencil says, this Troy Ave TAXSTONE case is gonna go down in history books for stupidity. Both of them could have been making money and prospering. Tax was ahead of his time in the podcast game. That's what it is. Salute. I'm gonna say this much, right, in regards to this situation. This is what happens when communities support niggas beefing with niggas. If you see a content creator that you like, stop supporting them beefing with niggas. You understand? Don't support that. Why would you support? God says that he doesn't like when we say negative things and bad things. And God does not like violence. Why would you support those things? Is violence sometimes necessary? Absolutely. But God doesn't want us going out there advocating for violence. He doesn't want us going out there trying to create violence. He doesn't want us going out there talking crazy about each other, disrespecting each other. He doesn't want that. So why would you want a person who is who runs a page or is a content creator that you like? Why would you want them doing things that's going to make God's wrath come down on them? Why? Why would you want people who you like to do things that's going to cause for God's wrath to come down on them? So I'm fine with what I do not being for everybody. I'm fine with that. There's millions, billions of people on the planet. What up, Diggs? Digger, he says, morning. Air Force says, Tax brought the negative energy to himself. this is what I'm going to say. And this is my belief. I'm going to tell you from my perspective. I messed up one time. And that one time I messed up was when we was doing the Treyway case, and they had people coming into the chat trying to get me to argue at and trying to get me to be really unfair towards Shotty. Now, I'm going to tell you something, whether y'all know this or not. But most of those people that was trying to get me to disrespect Shotty, those people now make videos talking about how great Shotty is. So God isn't allowing for them to prosper. You get it? Those same people that was pulling up in my chat every day are antagonizing me in a way that will cause for me to do more than just say factual information. Now, all they do is they still to this day talk about Treyway. They still to this day talk about Shotty and pretend like they are actually friends with the dude that when he was on trial, they was in my chat attacking me, trying to get me to say all the negative, worst things about him. So that's how niggas work. So when you see me not be cool with niggas, or when you see me not really want to be too sociable with niggas, these are some of the reasons why. This is an ill game. These dudes who argue with you, pretend they love a nigga, while at the same time they doing everything in the world to try to get people to say bad things about the person just so they could pretend to defend them. Now, you good, Chris? Digger says, the hate spreads faster than love. That's a fact. No pad, no pencil says, only in our community you ever see Joe Rogan beefing with Travis Trick. We used to play dudes like 26 and we were like 16. That's a fact. That's a fact. We used to play dudes that was grown adults and we were 16, 17, busting their ass. That's a fact. You was a rebounder. Nah, you did your thing. What are you talking about? I'm in no way trying to say you wasn't doing your thing, homie. I don't know why you came in here throwing shots at Tory, though. Chris says, this dude been the same since we was teenagers. My nigga! This is my energy. The only difference is I try not to be angry at people. That's the biggest difference. Before, I used to be on edge all the time. Now I just try not to be angry at people. That's it. That's the biggest difference with me. There's nothing fake over here. Zero things fake, my nigga. And when my peoples, and when you beefing with my peoples, I am that nigga that usually stand in the front. Am I lying, Chris? When you beefing with my peoples, I'm usually the nigga that go stand in the front. This is not no cap. I'm not saying my niggas can't handle themselves. I'm not saying that at all. All right, so J.R. Hardy says, Cass snitching, 6ix9ine snitching, Troy snitching, tax snitching, wax snitching, wax snitching, axe snitching. How is axe snitching? Blue snitching? How? The whole rap game, 70% of the gangs of politics. See, I don't know how Ack is snitching. He's not part of anything. How is he snitching? That's one. You lost me when you said Ack, and you lost me when you said Cass. Because I want to know how is Cass snitching. Maybe you know something I don't. Let's get back to the actual content. When we get to, I guess, 70, 50, 75, when we get to, we at 66. When we get to about 80 likes, I'm going to read some more comments. Anyway. So just so we can be clear, look, I'm not capping. I'm telling you what it was. Just now I'm a lot older, and I'm just a lot older now. And I understand that there's a lot of people that they just want to get me. I'm different. I understand what God wants from us. And there's people that they just want you to fight. You understand what I'm saying? Satan just wants you to fight. We're not supposed to fight unless we're fighting for the Most High. We're not supposed to fight for our own personal reasons. We're supposed to fight for the Most High and survival. That's it. That's it. You got niggas out here fighting for everything else in the world other than God. They won't fight for God. They'll fight for everything else, though. They'll fight because somebody says something about them they don't like, but they won't fight for the Most High. They won't put their name on the line for the Most High, but they'll put their name on the line for all this other bullshit that don't matter. You see, we all know that Tory was the you god of basketball. Why you going that Tory, man? Why you going that Tory, fam? Oh, man. This nigga said, shout out to homie. First of all, he's a Troy Ave fan because his line says, since you niggas like writing letters, here we go. And I'm just gonna tell you that song, that the chorus is hard on that song. That street Tory. That chorus is hard on that song. That chorus is hard on that song. I'm not gonna lie to you. The chorus is hard. I am not a person who thinks that Troy Ave is such a great rapper, but after hearing that song, I 100% think that he's definitely stepped his game up. I'll say that much. No disrespect to Troy, no disrespect to the people who love what he do. Please keep loving what he do. Love what Tax do also. But I'm just gonna keep it a stack with you. I think he stepped his game up with that song. It's just good. Hold on, I gotta read this. I'll let you tell the rest of your story when you have the beef. Hold on. That's who those dudes were? They jumped me, my nigga. How did I get beef with those guys anyway? They jumped me. What are you talking about? It was like 8 of them. And I had a cane. Chris says, I tell you a real fun fact, and I let you tell the rest of the story. When you had beef with the quote-unquote money boss players, that's who those guys was? How did I have beef with those guys, by the way? I have no idea how I had beef with those guys. When you had the cane, and I walked up on you, and you were fighting like 10 dudes, and even though I knew one or two dudes that was jumping in, I jumped in, and you was flinging dudes off my back like you was fighting dudes with a cane. That was like I don't even know I had beef with those dudes. I don't even know what the problem was, to be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck that was about. But you seen them dudes ain't want to come step to me till I messed up my ankle. That's a fact. I was walking around on that fucking cane. That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't even know how I had beef with those guys. Do you know how I had beef with those guys? I don't even know how I had beef with those. I don't even know what that was about, to be honest with you. I don't have the slightest idea what that was about. I'm not even lying to you. I don't know what that was about. I don't have the slightest idea, but that's a fact. We were fighting them in front of the building. No, this is before Instagram. This is 98, homie. This is in 1998. This happened in 1998 or some shit like that. You said, I seen one of the dudes recently. He looks terrible. Who do you ever see that did me dirty that came out good on the other side? Let's just be honest about that. When have you ever seen somebody do me dirty and come out good on the other side? So shout out to him. Shout out to whatever's going on with them. My God is a powerful God. My God is a strong God. My God is the only God. That energy. Yeah, them niggas jumped me. It was a ton of them motherfuckers. Yeah, it was a ton of them motherfuckers. They jumped me. Shout out to those guys. Anyway, let's get back to the actual stuff we're talking about, if you don't mind. They had beef with the whole neighborhood. Shiesty ass, DeVille, 840. Oh, so they just, all right. So that's why they, so that's what that was about. Yeah, so all right, so that's what that's about. And I was somebody in the hood, so it is what it is. And all of those people you just named is my people. So, yeah, I can see why that happened. But other than that, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was about. But you seen them niggas ain't stepped to me till I was hurt. They was rocking with Lord Tariq at that time. You see how none of them niggas stepped to me until I was hurt? You see that? And for everybody that don't know, I got hurt because we was playing on a basketball hoop, like on the side street. And I jumped up to do a layup and I came down on the corner of the sidewalk. And I, like this, my ankle went like that on the corner of the sidewalk. My dude, I'm from Concourse Village, and I used to live in Concourse Village, and I used to live on 165th Street in the Grand Concourse, 1020. Me and Chris used to live there. That's the building with all the lawyers and the big, huge building. Flavor Flav used to live in our building. Flavor Flav was Chris Man. Flavor Flav was Chris Man. Yo, remember y'all used to you remember you used to hang out with Flavor all the time? No, he was not smoking crack with the nigga. But remember, you bought me the Flavor crib. Oh, you from 6th and Wharton? Salute. Yeah, that's where I live. AKA Hatfield to McCoys. My fault, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm reminiscing over here. This is my homie I grew up with. Remember, you got all of these people that swear they know me. They don't know me. I promise you. I promise you. All of these people that's talking about they know me on the internet, these niggas don't know me. They didn't meet me until I started doing the internet. I promise you. They don't know me. All of these weirdos, they don't know me. I promise you. All right, let's get back to the actual case. Yeah, that my dude. Flavor lived in our building. That was Chris Man. Like they hung out. Like when I first time I went to the you brought me the Flavor crib, my nigga. Boom. You brought me the Flavor crib. Remember when he was doing the album? Matter of fact, come on, man. We're not playing. I keep trying to tell you, I've been around this type of shit my whole life. This is not cat. This is not cat. I've been around this shit my whole life. Shout out to Chris pulling up today. Yeah, nah, nobody was doing no drugs with Flav, man. Yeah, with the Spanish baby mama, that's a fact. Nobody wasn't doing no drugs with Flav, man. Wasn't doing zero drugs with Flav. Zero drugs. When he was walking around with the 2 casts on his arms. Oh, I fought y'all. Hold on, let's get back to this. But remember when Flav was walking around with the 2 casts on his arms? All right, we getting back to the, hold on, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. We're gonna get back to what we're doing. Yeah, I keep trying to tell people. Most of the people that do know you, Frost, don't be on the internet. We don't subscribe, no pun intended, into that lifestyle. That's a fact. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, these niggas that be talking about they know me, they don't know me. They just lying. If so, everybody know Chris like 6. What you like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. When we come back to the city, we gonna do some skits or some shit, man. For real, I've been looking for a team to do skits and stuff with. I got some ideas. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. We're reminiscing over here. Motherfuckers is not trying to be on camera. He said, remember when we took the whole hood on the train with a bike and some tokens, and he could take a limo, and he left his family go, and we went to the History of Hip Hop concert? I'm not sure if I went to that shit, but I know y'all did a lot of shit with that nigga. Y'all did a lot of shit with that nigga. That's a fact. Y'all did a lot of shit with Flav. That's a fact. That was with Flav all the damn time. I couldn't find you niggas to go who. Nigga said, people want to hear your backstories, Frost. No disrespect to the reporting, but people want to hear insight and one stories that are relatable. Glad I could validate some of that. Stories that people could relate to, especially if they're true. My dude, have I ever been a bum? Hold on. Have I ever been a bum? Ever? Have I ever been a bum, or have I always been fly? Let's just keep it a stat. Have I always been fly, and have I ever been a bum? Ever? No, Flavor was not doing drugs with them. That's crazy. Have I ever been a bum? Ever? Ever? The fuck? Do you understand the building we used to live in? Was nobody in that building a bum? What the fuck? better tell him. Now, you good, Chris? Never. Never. I always could rap, and I was fly. What are you talking about? Not you, Chris, just saying in general. I'm trying to tell you, these niggas is weirdos. Executive Towers, that's the name of the building we lived in. It looked like the damn, you know, the building that fucking the Jeffersons lived in? It looked like that shit. With a lie. L Boogie know what building I'm talking about? Nobody in that building a bum, nigga. Never been a bum. What the fuck? Chris, he's 6'2". What up, Darkwing? Salute. Never. The fuck? Yo, remember when I sent that chick over to y'all? Yo, remember when I'm not gonna talk about what happened, but remember when I was messing with them chicks, and I brought Shorty over, and then I sent the other Shorty over to go hang out with y'all? Yes, I'm that nigga. What the fuck? My dude, what did we used to just go do? No, hold on. We gotta get shocking here one day. What did we used to just go do? We used to just go walk around and get chicks' numbers, and I barely even call any of them chicks back. Yo, remember the chick that I used to date that used to stalk me, and none of y'all believed that she used to stalk me, and until we saw her ducking behind cars? Is that true or am I capping? I want to apologize to everybody that showed up for the other content. I want to apologize to everybody that showed up for the other content. My homie pulled up on me. Hold on, am I capping? Chris, am I capping? Remember the chick, don't call her name if you remember it. Remember the chick that I used to date? And she used to hide behind the cars, seeing everything that I was doing all day? Do you remember her? And I told y'all about her, and y'all used to laugh at me and say that shit was not real. And then one day I saw her finally. A bitch used to pull disappearing acts like fucking Houdini. Is that shit real or am I capping? And she was a cutie. Light-skinned girl, nice body. L Boogie said, best building in the whole area. You could sleep in the hallway stairwells. That's how fly that building my grandmother was a home attendant for 12 years. There's niggas on the internet trying to tell niggas I'm a bum. Always been a bum. And my nigga, how? There's niggas that say that I'm pussy or whatever and can't fight. This nigga just told you I was fighting like 10 niggas by myself. I had a cane because my fucking ankle was fucked up. These niggas that's talking about me is just lying, my nigga. I'm telling you they are. I'm telling you they are. I'm just older now, and I've been through a lot of wars, and I don't want to get involved with nothing. That's it. That's it. That's all. I'm trying to live a nice, happy life. I don't want to beef with nobody about nothing. We is not the same. The only people that want to fight is broke niggas. The only people that want to argue all day is miserable niggas. I'm not miserable and I'm not broke. I don't want to do neither one of those things. And yes, we used to hang out with chicks all the time. That's a fact. Remember that one chick I used to argue with all the time, Pam Free? I hated that chick. I ain't gonna lie to you. Gonna smash one day, but I didn't like her so much I didn't even want to have sex with her. I'm gonna have to rename this whole fucking video, man. All right, let's get back to the show. Look at D-Train said, I'm from 167 in Clay Ave. You had to have some type of money to live in that building. No, not Shauna. I don't want to talk about Shauna. Shout out to Shauna. No, Pam's friend, the skinny chick that used to argue with me all the time. I was dating Shauna. That was my little sweetheart. I don't got nothing bad to say about Shauna. Shout out to Shauna. I don't even care whatever happened with us back then. I don't care whatever happened with me and Shauna back then. I don't got nothing bad to say about no chick I was ever in a relationship with or having sex with. I don't got nothing bad to say. Shout out to Shauna. I appreciated every moment we spent together. Yeah, of course, dudes down the hall. Remember dudes that used to hang out with us down the hall? I forgot their names. Them niggas was cool. All right, let's get back to the actual content. Let's get back to the actual content. Like, for real, niggas. Yo, people are online pretending to know me, homie. Like, they really online pretending that they know me. And there's other people believing this shit. Just pretending. Not Shauna, though. I was messing with Shauna for a while. Shout out to Shauna. But, no, that other girl that was Pam friend, the skinny chick. Yeah, we used to have the penthouse. Okay, one last thing. I want to say one last thing. I want to say one last thing. I'm going to read his comment, then I'm going to say one last thing and get back to what we're doing. He says, yo, you remember the penthouse? Yo, you don't remember the chick that used to, that I used to keep saying that was stalking me? It wasn't Shauna. And I said, don't say nobody's name. But it wasn't Shauna, but her name was close to that. I'm just asking you, do you remember her? Shauna was dark-skinned. Remember, I had a real big thing for dark-skinned girls. Shauna was dark-skinned. This girl was light-skinned. Remember, I used to always be trying to date dark-skinned girls. This girl was light-skinned. But I'm just asking you, do you remember the chick that used to stalk me? Y'all called her the stalker after y'all fucking saw her doing it. Y'all used to laugh at me and say, used to make fun of me and say, wasn't nobody stalking me? Because this is real, hold on, real talk. I'd be like, she's right there. And everybody turn around and she ain't there no more. Yeah, Shorty from Walton. You remember? I used to be like, yo, look, she's right there. And then everybody turn around and she ain't there no more. And y'all niggas made fun of me for a dumb long time about that shit until y'all finally saw her doing it. Y'all niggas used to make fun of me like crazy. Like, it used to be like, I think I was going crazy or some shit. And I'm like, she's right there. And then everybody turn around and she ain't there no more. That bitch was pulling a Batman. That shit is for real. That bitch was pulling a Batman, my nigga. I'm trying to tell y'all, my life is different. My life is different. Okay? Yeah, shorty from Walton. That's a fact. And she had the fine sister and she had the cute cousin. They were all fine. They were all attractive, just so we could be clear. I wasn't trying to bang none of them. They were all attractive. That shit was crazy. You know who I'm talking about, so you know who I'm talking about. That shit was crazy. My life is different. That's what I keep trying to tell people. My life is different. I don't know. My life is different, homie. My life is different. There's nothing I could do about it. It's just always weird shit happening around me, and there's nothing I could do. I lived an extremely full life. And if I ever get the opportunity to make some television about my life, y'all gonna love it. I promise you. I promise you. If I ever get the opportunity to make television about my life, y'all gonna love it. I promise you. I promise you. My life is different. Hold on. You remember the penthouse on the roof? We took it over after the Colombian drug dealer got indicted. That's a fact. So on the roof of I'm sweating over here. So on the roof of Executive Towers, there's a penthouse. The penthouse, the dude the person who lived there wasn't there no more. The drug dealer guy. So we found out about the shit, and that was that was like our clubhouse. That was like our crib for like a dumb long time. No, I didn't finish talking about the case. I'm sorry about that, Angelina. Wait, which Kev from the Ville? You talking about Kev from what? Kev from Gerard? You talking about basketball Kev? Well, he did have fam in the Ville. Kev is from the Ville. Yeah, you're right. Shout out to Kev. No, I used to go to church with his family. Yeah, but I didn't move in there in the 70s. We moved in there in the 90s. You talking about Slim Kev that was nice at basketball? That me and him used to go at it? Kev was nice. Kev was nice. This nigga called me Pippin, though. Fuck out of here. All right, can we get back to the case? I want to get back to the case. I'm over here reminiscing, man. I'm just feeling good that there's some people fucking pulling up that know me. Because you got a lot of people on the internet talking crazy shit. Like, this shit is wrong, my nigga. I'm used to chicks trying to get with me. I'm not used to having to go after chicks. I'm not even lying. I'm not lying. I'm used to chicks coming up to me. I'm not used to having to actually go after females. This is a fact. And we literally, this is a fact though. I mean, not that we didn't pick up chicks, because we picked up chicks all the time. But this is a fact. What did we used to do every Friday and Saturday night? We'd go and get mad numbers. Every Friday and Saturday night. We either pull up to that mall, and we used to hustle out in front of the mall. Remember we used to hustle out in front of the mall? We used to hustle out in front of the mall. Remember that? Y'all niggas did more of that hustling than me. I just used to hang out, drink beer, and smoke weed. But remember, y'all used to hustle, you and Tori used to hustle out in front of the mall? Okay. I'll do that. People are here for the TAXSTONE Trial. But I'm telling you, people are lying to y'all about who I am. Positive vibes. That's a fact. Salute. People are lying to you about who I am. I promise you. I promise you. Chris and Tori used to hustle out in front of the mall. That's a fact. That's a fact. With Infinite and and what's the other nigga name? God First. It's a fact. We from the Bronx. We from the Bronx. Just so we could be clear. When the Bronx was the Bronx, oh, it's crazy now. But we from the Bronx. Y'all used to hustle in front of the mall. And every once in a while, I'd get involved a little, but not really. But y'all used to hustle in front of the mall. And I used to go hang out there with y'all. And we used to always talk to the chicks walking past and just scoop numbers and scoop broads all day. This is a fact. I think I know Rashawn. I think I know Rashawn. We was hustling right in front of the courthouse. Devon. Yeah, Devon and Inf. This is a fact. That they was the old homies that actually started the picture game in Harlem in the 80s Vibe magazines. That's a fact. Keep trying to tell y'all I've been around this shit forever. Stop listening to these new niggas. The niggas I've been close to, the niggas I fuck with, if all official niggas that been around this shit. Everybody I grew up with. Everybody official, my dude. We always doing something, some way about something. I promise you. Yeah, them is the dudes. Devon and Inf. Devon was the dude from the Vibe magazine. It's a lot of history. He says it's a lot of history. I remember taking pictures for Big Pun. Yep. And he rolled up to take pics in 161st. This was before digital cameras. And we had to learn how to operate that damn Polaroid-ass camera. It's not as easy as it sounds. We had to learn how to operate. It was an official camera. Come on, fam. Niggas been hustlers. Niggas been out here doing what it takes. Niggas been going to sleep late and waking up early. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. I'm trying to tell you, these people is capping. Y'all busy finding shit funny, hating on a real nigga. Come on, let's get back to what we're talking about before he says something else that's interesting. Really been out here. For real, for real. Yes, niggas was getting money off that shit. Shout out to D-Train. He know what it is. Come on, fam. We teenagers out here doing that. We was teenagers. Teenagers. Out there hustling on the corner. A legal hustle. Come on, man. Stop it, fam. They'll have you hating on people you should be learning from. Be careful. Be careful. Can we get back to the actual... Bro, Easter was crazy with the picture game. That's a fact. When Easter popped up, you knew you was going to get paid. That's a fact. I never forgot, I saw like 500 copies of Bad Boys. I made like 2 racks just in that one day. Easter was always bananas. That's a fact. Come on, man. We was teenagers, homie. We was teenagers, homie. Teenagers. 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 That's a fact. You talking about down there, all the way at the other end near Yankee Stadium? I want to say, yeah, on the other side of Yankee Stadium, when they put the shit up on the other side of the park. Yeah, the camera wasn't easy. You had to learn how to do the focus, because if not, the pictures came out blurry, and we slid the picture out after we take it and put it in code. Come on, fam. And nothing illegal. All legal. I guess, you know, no drugs. No drugs. That's what I'm going to say. No drugs. No drugs. We were selling almost everything else. My peoples were selling. I had people that sold drugs too, but we're not going to talk about that. It says case and keep it there for like 5 minutes and then peel it off and put it in the frame. 1 for 6, 2 for 10. I never forget, because those life lessons prepared me for the corporate and how to deal with people. My dude. That was my dude. The best hustlers come from the Bronx. The Bronx and Harlem. I ain't gonna lie to you. The Bronx and Harlem. I'm not gonna act like Harlem ain't in there too. The best hustlers come from the Bronx and Harlem. Period. The best hustlers come from the Bronx and Harlem. Period. Don't let nobody lie to you. Can we get back to the actual my actual stuff though? Because you guys got me all the way off track. But we was hustlers, man. We teenagers. Monetizing everything. That's a fact. We was teenagers, homie. So don't, niggas will have you be lying to you about who another nigga is. I promise you. We lived in good buildings, but like Chris said, our parents had the money. We didn't have no money. We had to go out and get our own money. That niggas who have you hating somebody you should be learning from. I promise you. Shout out to East Tremont. Salute. People who have you hating from people you should be learning from. I promise you. I promise you. We was hustlers, my nigga. For real, for real. I can't speak on B more. I only can tell you about New York City. If Brooklyn had them niggas that's gonna rob you, this is a fact. Brooklyn had them niggas that's gonna rob you. Them niggas, when I was growing up, they had them niggas that's gonna rob you. That's what Brooklyn had. Queens, they had finesses, but it was a different way of finessing. Harlem, hustlers. Bronx, hustlers. You get a person from the Bronx and Harlem, they'll sell you anything. I promise you. People from the Bronx and Harlem sell you anything. Brooklyn had them niggas, they gonna rob you. I promise you. They gonna rob you, extort you. They gonna do all of that shit. Queens, they had them fast talking ass motherfuckers. Like, they were just on a whole different other vibe than the city. It's like they not even New Yorkers, but they New Yorkers. You understand? Like on some real shit, no disrespect. Bronx and Harlem had hustlers. If I'm lying, put it in the chat. And we got to get to our actual content. Niggas who have you hating and laughing at people you should be learning from. I promise you. We've been hustling since teenagers, homie. Most of these mofos out here, I don't know what they was doing. And I'm not knocking nobody, and I'm not shitting on nobody or nothing like that. But if you out here hating, you can't tell me you was a hustler. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe that you got hustle in you if you out here hating. Because hustlers don't hate. I promise you, a hustler is not hating. No real hustlers out here hating on nobody. No real person out here that know how to get to the money, they don't even got time to be hating on you. When have you ever heard of a businessman just hating on another businessman? They don't got time for that. Oh, shoot, I unplugged the wrong thing. I promise you, they don't got time for that. That's a fact. If you did anything other than weed back then, you was a fiend. That's a fact. Chris says these kids don't understand. When they were talking about doing drugs, we grew up as teenagers in the 90s. If you did, we just passed the 80s crack era. If you did anything except for weed, you was considered a fiend. That's a fact. And Harlem and the Bronx is the same. That's a fact. Harlem and the Bronx is the same to me. We all uptown, just like Brooklyn and Queens are kind of interchangeable. But I think the Brooklyn niggas robbed the Queens niggas. I think it's more that than anything else. I could be wrong. Kuda B is home. Shout out to Nerve and Numbers. We'll talk about that at some point. It should be going to the jury on Monday or Tuesday. It should be going to the jury on Monday and Tuesday. No, but that's a whole fact. Don't let nobody lie to you. Don't let nobody lie to you. Niggas that's out here hustling, niggas that's real businessmen trying to get to the money, they don't got time to hate on nobody. That's why I don't understand why niggas be so quick to want to be involved with niggas that's doing nothing but hating. Like, why? Nobody don't want to hear about my stories, Chris. Nobody don't want to hear about my stories. They want to hear about what's going on with taxing them. And remember, I used to have the long braids. Hold on. One more thing. Didn't I used to have the braids that went down on my shoulders? I used to have the long braids. This is a fact. Let's get back to the actual TAXSTONE case. I'm going to let you talk your shit in the chat, but I'm going to get back to the TAXSTONE case. It just feels good to be talking to somebody that know me. Because I have so many people pull up into the chat that don't know me. And they be telling people whatever. I got so many people all over the internet talking like they know me. They don't know me. You understand what I'm saying? That shit is frustrating. These dudes don't know me. They lying to y'all in order to try to. I don't know. They just liars. Just let God deal with them. That's all I can say. Let God deal with them. That's it. I don't wish no bad on nobody. I'm not doing that. Just let God deal with them. All right, let's get back to the actual show. So real quick, I'm gonna do a real quick breakdown about what we were speaking about previously, just so we could be clear. I'm gonna do a real quick breakdown about what we were speaking about previously, just so we could be clear. Troy Ave is being cross-examined by Esquire at this point. And while they're being cross-examined, one of the things that's happening is Esquire brought out that Troy Ave had been speaking about the case in songs. He's also disparaged Benga's family in songs. He disparaged Hovain's ex-wife in songs. Also, Troy Ave agreed that he talked about this from day one through text messages, even when he was locked up. He spoke about the case in songs, and he says that his art is reality. But what he says is that it's not one for one. It's more like he takes a kernel or a nugget of reality, and then when he makes his art, what he does is he then he has to add color to it. He has to add a little flavor to it in order to be able to make it more digestible or more interesting to the public. So he'll take something that's real and then he'll add a little something to it, because if you just say the thing that's 100% real, people aren't going to really care for it. So he takes a thing that's real and he adds a little something to it to make it more interesting. He also says, Troy Ave, during the cross-examination, said that he did podcasts with academics, Breakfast Club, and Mav Hoffa speaking on said topic. He's probably also did other podcasts, including speaking about the topic on his own page. He also said that he talked about Young Lido, he talked about Casanova, and he talked about Trife. For everybody that don't know, Trife is Benga's brother, R.I.P. Benga. Benga is the person that TAXSTONE is currently on trial for. Benga is currently the person that TAXSTONE is on trial for taking his life. And they also came to the understanding that Troy Ave signed his agreement in April 27th, and the first time he met with the government to actually speak on these particular things, just so we could be clear, was February 8th. So April 27th was when he signed the paperwork saying, yeah, I'm going to help you guys do what you need to do. But on March 8th is the first time that he actually had his first meeting with the government. And when he had that first meeting with the government, also, just so we could be clear, that's when they changed his bail. They modified his bail and to $500,000, and he was allowed to come home. With that also being said, what he said was the reason why he helped the government, this is all cross-examination, the reason why he helped the government, just so we could be clear, I don't know who Building 10 is, and I didn't know that your aunt came around. So that's all new stuff to me. Also, if that is you, Chris, you got to let me know, because people clone accounts. With that being said, I don't remember Chris ever. I didn't even know there was a Key Food in our neighborhood. Oh, you mean on Gerard? I don't know what Building 10 is. I don't know what none of that is. To be honest with you, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That might be a cloned account, by the way. I have no idea what you're talking about. And Chris never says homie, so that might be a cloned account, but I'll wait to kick it. With that being said, they signed the agreement April 27th. The first time they spoke with the government was February 8th. They did proffers between February 8th and April 27th. February 8th, one of the things in which they did was, just so we could be clear, February 8th, one of the things in which they did was adjust the bail. They modified the bail agreement. When they modified the bail agreement, that allowed for him to be able to get out of jail. One of the reasons why he said that he actually decided to speak with the government on this particular subject is because of the letter that TAXSTONE had sent, or TAXSTONE's lawyer had sent to the judge. That letter talked about a crime and tried to implicate Troy Ave in a crime, and thus implicate the people around Troy Ave in a crime. So Troy Ave then felt like, since they're telling, I'm going to tell also. That was when Troy Ave then decided that he was going to help the government in this particular case. They did the proffers. He did proffers between February 8th to April 27th. At that point, after they did whatever the proffers that they did, the government agreed that this was good information. They wanted to then take him on as a cooperating witness. And then that's when he actually signed the paperwork on April 27th. They went back and forth about suit and ties and crocodile tears on the stand. Then they asked Troy Ave was asked if they jumped TAXSTONE. Troy Ave said no. He says he used the trap in his vehicle, because then the trap in the vehicle came up. For everybody that don't know what a trap in a vehicle is, that's when you modify the vehicle to have a trap compartment. It's like a secret compartment. That's a fact. They might not be. That's a fact. Hold on. Me and you grew up with spread out like super friends. That's a fact. And a lot of them might not be on social media. That's a fact. So they might not be on social media. A lot of our people that we grew up with wouldn't do social media. That's I'm gonna say that like that. Like a lot of the people I grew up with, they wouldn't do social media. They're not social media niggas. Niggas don't want to be on social media. Some of these niggas for legal reason. Some of these niggas for other reasons, because shit that niggas did when they was they don't want to be findable. Just keeping it a stack. That's why I keep trying to say, you niggas, that people that get online and act like they know me, they really don't know me. For real, for real. In any regard. A trap in a vehicle is a secret compartment. Basically, you go somewhere like to a body shop or something, I guess, and then you have them install a secret compartment. The secret compartment could be used for stashing a ton of different things. One of the reasons why Troy Ave said that he had the secret compartment made in the vehicle, and this is a customized van, is because they wanted to be able to hide drugs, you know, for their personal use, not for selling. They wanted to be able to hide weapons, and they wanted to be able to hide money and jewelry, because you don't never know when somebody might try to roll up on you and rob you. They said that he was aware Banger would have to be armed at some of these stash boxes. That's a fact. They said that they were aware. They said that they was aware that Banger would at times need to be armed because of some of the places that they were going. Specifically, he said whenever they went to a venue that didn't have good security, they would bring the weapons inside with them. Also, whenever they went to a venue where they knew the local gang had a lot of influence, the local thugs, I think is the word that he used, had a lot of influence at that place, then you know you're not but so safe. So they had, then at those times they brought weapons in with them or they didn't go. Those was the two options. So that's why they had the stash box. Also, he says he didn't have a fallout with Lito and Hovain. It was not due to wanting to take responsibility for the gun. He said Hovain and Lito fallout was not because of the not wanting to take responsibility for the gun. Initially, Hovain said he would take responsibility for one gun, and then, as far as I can tell, allegedly he pulled back and said, "You know what? I don't want to take responsibility for the gun," and that could have been where an issue had arisen. Young Lito, right off the rip, said he's not taking responsibility for nothing, and if you keep asking me to, I'm gonna go to the DA and tell them about everything. I'm gonna go spill my guts. So they eventually decided that they weren't gonna keep asking Young Lito to do that. The fallout, I'm about to get to that. The fallout with Young Lito, apparently, what he said it was over was, as soon as he got locked up, he wasn't even in jail for like 2 months. And then apparently they was like, the next up, Young Lito. What do you mean the next up, Young Lito? I've only been locked up. I haven't even been locked up 3 months. He was only locked up for 2 months. What do you mean the next up? How is there anybody the next up? So you just throwing me away? Y'all all eating off of me. Y'all eating off of what I'm doing. All of y'all. And as soon as I get locked up, y'all just forget I exist. And then on top of that, nobody want to help me get out. So he says that's what they actually had the falling out. He says the fallout with Hovain was partly because he didn't take responsibility for the gun. He did admit that. Like I said before, Hovain was initially supposed to take responsibility for the gun, and one of the guns, and I guess at some period in time he decided not to. What up, Kitten's Touch? And then at one point or another, he decided not to. He said that he never got caught for selling kilos. Apparently, because remember, he was a big drug dealer. He never got caught for selling any drugs. And I'm not saying that that's not a thing that happens, because there are people out here that do criminality and don't get caught. That happens. But he said that, I don't know what to tell you. He said he was selling 3 to 5 kilos the first of the month and 6 to 10 kilos the 15th of the month. Never got caught. He says more than just tax caught Troy a fraud. He agreed to this. Remember, this is the defense, just so we could be clear. This is the defense, just so we could be clear. Allegedly, not allegedly. So apparently there's somebody named Drew Millard. Drew Millard had a beef, or they wrote something disparaging about Troy Ave. Also, Sheldon Pierce apparently wrote something disparaging also about Sheldon Ave. Drew Millard was actually approached at one point and assaulted by Banger. Apparently, somebody was called the George Bush of rap. I guess they're trying to say Troy Ave was called the George Bush of rap. Said that McConan, I don't know how to say that guy's name, but McConan also allegedly, apparently everybody knows about it, was attacked by Banger. They took offense, and then they punched him while he was on stage. This is what he said on the stand. And just so we could be clear, he says he didn't order it. Troy Ave says that he did not order that. He says that he did not order the McConan situation at all. And I think he said that he didn't order the Drew Millard thing. And apparently he said that he didn't even know who Sheldon Pierce was. During this is all cross-examination. If y'all getting kicked, I need y'all to just come back. If y'all getting kicked, I need you to just come back. That's all I can say. Something is going on my page. I have no idea exactly what it is, but I can tell something is going on. If you're getting kicked, just come back. This is why we shoot from the phone. A lot of people is like the volume is messed up. I shoot from my phone right now because I don't feel comfortable turning my computer on, just so we can be clear. And that's why a lot of our interviews that we have been doing and whatnot is taking a little bit of time to get out because I don't really feel comfortable turning my computer on. I got to send my computer away to get all the way fixed. But yeah, we're being attacked like crazy right now on social media. I did not see your comment, King Far Rock. Your comment, that's the first comment I seen you put. I am not skipping your comment. My page is getting attacked right now, so I can't see everybody's comments. Write your comment again, King Far Rock. I did not see your comment. I didn't see it. Far Rock, put your comment back up. I didn't see it. I'm not skipping you. I haven't read any comments, by the way. In any regard, Troy Ave tweeted that he got a Yellow Man chain, and that was one day after Yellow Man disrespected him. So they're trying to show that Troy Ave actually, gets vengeance on people consistently. Also, could we hit that like button, please? We might need more likes in here to help fight against whatever attacks that's going against the page at this moment. So we could get up to like 100 likes. It'll probably help benefit us a little. With that being said, so the defense is trying to show that Troy Ave is actually volatile, and the problems that is going on is his creation. So they also, Troy Ave tweeted that he had Yellow Man chain one day after Yellow Man disrespected him. They threatened everyone on Twitter. This is what the prosecution is saying. This is not something that Troy Ave agreed to. This is just what the prosecution is saying. Troy Ave did say that he was not afraid of TAXSTONEs. Said he went back and forth about then they went back and forth about country music. This is probably where I was about to tell y'all what happened, but we're gonna go past that because we spent so much time talking about some other stuff. Initially said him and Benga was fighting over the gun with Tax. Because initially, once again, he said he believed Benga was helping him because he felt like he was getting help from somewhere. Another thing that actually lines up with what the girl said, by the way, just so we can be clear. The girl being Miss Ibrahim, says he swung at TAXSTONE. Says he swung at TAXSTONE with his right hand over Benga's left shoulder. Also says that he assumed, this is, I'm reading the stuff that was agreed to, by the way. When they're saying things and nobody's agreeing to these things, I generally am not speaking out about it unless I'm telling you about it, and then I'm not saying that these things were necessarily agreed to. When you hear me say something, that's because this has been agreed to by the person on the stand. Right now, Troy Ave is being cross-examined by Esquire. Give me 1 second. Let me read Far Rock's comment real quick. Far Rock always. Far Rock, and you ain't write your comment back in. Maybe your comment ain't coming through. You got to reword it. All right, so he says that they says he was on assignment. Pardon me. Said he was assuming Benga was shot on the first shot. He contradicts what his direct statement was. I just put that out there. He used his Axe interview saying he isn't scared of a gun. Says that he beat Tax up and took his pistol. He's agreeing to all of this stuff. He's not sure what anybody else did. He's like, yo, I beat Tax up and took Tax's gun. I'm not sure what anybody else did. I don't even know what I did. Then he says, then Troy Ave actually gets on the floor and reenacts the shooting on the floor. Troy Ave shows a reenactment. This is pretty interesting. Also, apparently, so they're going back and forth. And while they're going back and forth, Troy Ave goes to say like a smart comment, like, yo, you want me to get down there and show you what happened? And so Esquire is like, yeah, sure, why not? So he's like, you just want me to lay on the dirty floor. Fam, you said it, not him. So then Esquire says something along the line. Somehow they agree that Esquire is going to put his coat on the floor and Troy Ave is going to lay on his coat. And Troy Ave got on the floor in front of the jury, laid on the floor on the coat, and showed the jury exactly the situation about how it transpired. That's a fact, Bronx River. I agree, Kitten's touch. The prosecution and the defense both did an incredible job here with what they had to work with. I agree, 100%. And y'all already know, if I think a lawyer is doing a bad job, I'm going to tell you. You already know. If I think a lawyer is doing a bad job, I'm going to tell you. If I think a judge is doing a bad job, I'm going to tell you. You already know. I'm not going to cap. I'm not trying to make friends. You understand? At all. You do your job, I'm going to do my job. Just respect us for our jobs that we do. At some point, we might be able to work together, but we might actually even become friends. I'm cool with that. But I'm not trying to make friends. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not actively like, I'm going to be nice to this person so they cool with me. I don't operate that way, with all due respect. Like, I don't operate that way, with all due respect. Far Rock says, they won't let your comment come through. I'm sorry about that. Far Rock with the $15 drop says, is it true they're full of old white people, the jury? Yes, the jury is 100% full of old people. They're not all old and white. First of all, a couple of people on the jury should be upset about that because some of them are Hispanic. Some of them are Latina and Latino. Y'all calling them white. They might take offense to that. Just because somebody's skin is not melanated, that don't make them Caucasian. That's one. Two, there are at least 3 black people on the jury. There's at least 3. And this is me saying 3 because you can look at their skin and tell that they're melanated. There's at least 3. But I want to say something real quick before we get back to the commentary. If I was TAXSTONE, these are the type of people I want on the jury. Why in the hell, if you out there fighting for your life, do you want some young black people on the jury? You don't. You want people that have had some life experience. You want some people that are closer to death in their own life. You want people on the jury that's still out there and think that they're invincible? You want them on the jury? You think that just because somebody is young, they're going to side with the defendant? We live in a hater culture. Where are most of the haters at? Most of the haters are between freaking 25 and 40. Tell me where the lie at. Most of the haters, I'm not even talking about trolls. I'm talking about people that just actively want bad things to happen to other people out of jealousy. Most of them are between 20, 25, and 40. Why would you want any of these people on the jury and you fighting for your life? I'm not saying you do, Far Rock. I'm just saying, just in general. Why? Yes, and you want people that don't know who you are. That's a fact. So because a lot of old people are stuck in their ways might benefit you. A lot of old people went through oppression too, real oppression. A lot of old people remember how it used to be. You know what, Mr. Matt Cobain? I hope that if you have the displeasure, I hope that you don't have a problem with the judicial system, just so we can be clear. But if you ever do have the judicial system, I hope you get the people on the jury that you want. All of them young motherfuckers. People like you got to learn the hard way. Hope you get all of the young people. All of the young people. So you're a law-abiding citizen. So people don't go to trial by accident. So that means that if you are on trial, you're innocent. And I hope you get all the young haters in the jury. All of the young haters. And I'm only hoping this because I'm hoping that you get the thing that you want, which is the young haters. Hope you get all the young haters in your jury because you're a law-abiding citizen. So whatever they accuse you of, you are innocent. You won't be in that situation, but that don't mean you won't be in a situation. You see how you argue? Your debating has to deal with shit that you can't prove, while my debating has to deal with possibilities. We have a different level of intelligence, my brother. And that was meant to be disrespectful. I'm going to read some comments. Get those likes up to 100 because I'm reading comments now. And I was going to wait until we got to 100 to read the comments, but I'm going to pay it forward. So get those likes up to 100. I'm paying it forward with the understanding that we're going to get at least 7 more people to hit that like button. I actually lost a like. Shout out to that shit. Not a real shout out. JB says, the story is clear. All witnesses are saying the same story from different perspectives. Malcolm, Cass, Troy, and the girl are all saying Troy and Banger rushed them and shot rang off, and they got shot. Yeah, they all telling the same story. Deal with says older folks not influenced by social media. They might not even have social media. Pay attention to the arguments that people try to use against me. It's always assumption arguments. It's always we have to act like something that didn't happen happened in order for their argument to make sense. You understand? Now you see why I don't want to debate with nobody? Because people want to debate their emotions. I don't want to debate your emotions. That's how I don't want to debate your emotions. You can feel however you want to feel. I can't tell you how to feel. I don't want to debate your emotions. These dudes want me to debate their emotions. Sad thing is our own people, Black Latino. I agree with you, Huddy. When you see Black people getting hated, they mostly look 50 plus. It's a fact, Art G. Salute. When you see Black people getting hated against, it's almost always other Black people. Almost always. At least that's my experience. Older people hear the word rapper and then think thug. Might work in the favor of the defense. Yeah, it might. You do understand, and I hope no jury did this, because then they would be going through, they'd be going against what the judge told them to do. But you do understand, if any of these juries decide to go listen to any of Troy Ave's music, they might then side with TAXSTONE. You do understand this, right? Y'all do understand this? You do understand this, right? Now, I hope none of them do that, because that would be going against the directives of the judge, just so we can be clear. I think that's a fake Sharice page. Sharice has not been yellow ever, so she either just changed that or that's a fake Sharice page. Seasoned people that could think and read between the lines of BS. Yes, Ark G, salute. These other guys, they don't want people like that in the jury. They want people that didn't have no life experience. That's who they want. They want 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds on their jury while that man fighting for his life. Yes, Sharice, I pay attention. If you a person that come in here and comment often, I pay attention. Once I start considering you a part of our community, I pay attention. I pay attention. Also, and this, I'm not saying this because anybody pulled up in the chat. I just haven't said this the whole entire show, and we're going on 2.5 hours. Also, if anybody wants to help, if you are enjoying the content, you can always pull up to our Cash App or our PayPal. We will have our Super Chat back soon. You can always pull up to our Cash App or our PayPal if you are enjoying the content and you want to show your appreciation for what we're doing over here. That's how you know do the whole troll. He said, what's the Cash App info? And the Cash App is pinned. Lil Bronx says, I'm not going to lie. Living in New York City, you almost have to damn near die and hurt the other people just to have the court to be light. That's a fact. I'm not reading all of the comments. I'm reading some of them. They're seasoned. That's a fact, Art G. You've been in court with me. Mittens, Kittens Touch says human nature may have them go home and chat. They shouldn't. Young people will run into bias. Young people will run into bias. Older peeps' friends will be like, "Who?" It's a fact. Armando Sanchez says, "Free tax the Podfather. Be safe though." Huddy says, "Pardon myself. We understand what I missed that point. I don't understand what you're saying." All right, let's get back to actually reading what's happening in court real quick. Thank you for everybody that hit that like button so we can get up to 101. Our next mark we trying to hit is about 125. So could we get a couple of more likes in there? Once again, if you are not liking the content, you do not have to hit the like button. If you are not liking the content, you do not have to pull up to the Cash App or the Super Chat. You also, if you're liking the content, you don't have to do any of those things. I'm just saying, if you are liking the content, and you would like for us to do more content and keep everything going, those are ways that you can help support the platform. That's what I'm saying. Jury steps out. There's an objection by the prosecution. The jury steps out. The prosecution said that the defense violated a drugs directive. So what basically happened at this point is Benga had got, remember the letter that was written and sent to the judge? In the letter that was written and sent to the judge, I'm going to read an excerpt of it real quick. In the letter that was sent to the judge, what the heck, fam? Okay, hold on. In the letter that was sent to the judge, part of it said, members of Mr. Collins' entourage were also involved in another club shooting whereby an innocent bystander was shot and injured in New York City club. Specifically, a member of Mr. Collins' entourage, who is known as Benga, was charged with the shooting in New York County by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. So they're not allowed to speak on this, because this would be prejudicial and it won't be probatory. Basically, probatory means something that they can probe, that they can ask questions about and find out about. So they can't probe on this. This is not probatory. This is prejudicial. So therefore, they can't put it in to the court case, just so we can be clear. The jury isn't allowed to hear anything that is prejudicial. So that has already been deemed by the judge that they cannot talk about this specific arrest, or basically any arrest or any business that's BSB business that doesn't directly attribute it to Troy Ave during the Troy Ave cross-examination. That's like you being on the stand and you being cross-examined, and they're not asking you about crimes that you committed. They're asking you about crimes that some dude that you know committed. And I'm not saying some dude like you don't know him, you know him well, but I'm saying like, what the heck, fam? So they're not asking you about crimes that you committed in order to ascertain whether you are your credibility, because they can ask you about your crimes. They're trying to ascertain your credibility. Your crimes could be asked. That's why when they're, generally speaking, whenever a witness takes the stand, especially if they're going to be a witness that's a a witness that's based on they have an expert witness specifically. That's why when they take the stand, and I'm just going to pull up any random person that had to take the stand real quick that was an expert witness. We go with Miss Brenda Brazinga Garcia, and I do not know how to say her name well, but anyway, that's why when they take the stand, the first thing they do is go over their credentials. 17-year NYPD. She's been with the 75th precinct and the 88th precinct. She's was paroled for domestic violence between 2013 2015. From between 2015 to present, she's been crime scene unit. They do a lot of felony cases specifically. She preserves the crime scene. She does support services. She does physical evidence forensics, and also she full you don't need to know that, but basically this is why they do all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Because they ascertaining the credibility of the witness. So if a witness takes the stand, they could ask them questions based on who they are, so the jury could understand how credible they are or aren't. So when Troy Ave is on the stand, you could ask him about crimes in which he's committed. That's why when Troy Ave first gets on the stand, the first thing the prosecution does is they ask him about one of the first things the prosecution does is ask him about the crimes he's committed. First they say where he lives, yada yada, what he does professionally, yada yada, and then they go over his crimes. And like July 24th, 2003, he was arrested for possession of a gun. He took it as a youthful offender. It's been the case was dismissed and sealed. In 2005 to 2009, he was driving without a license. He pays the fine. In early 2002, he sold drugs, yada yada. July 17th, 2000, he had a shootout. He got hit. He hit nobody. In 2007, there was an air gun BB gun. So they're ascertaining the credibility of the individual, right? So you can't ask about crimes that somebody else committed just because you know the person. That would just be prejudicial. That has nothing to do with what actually happened. But if you are involved in the crime in some way, shape, or form, then they can ask about the crime, because then it's probatory. Now, hold on, just so we can be clear. The defense team tried to bring this up because Troy Ave bailed Banger out of jail. But by Troy Ave bailing Banger out of jail, that has nothing to do with the actual crime that was committed, just so we can be clear. By Troy Ave bailing Banger out of jail, that had nothing to do with the actual crime that was committed. So since that had nothing to do with the actual crime that was committed, the prosecution is arguing, because the judge already said that this is not something they can talk about, says that that's an open case, was a shooting case that Troy Ave had nothing to do with. So how are you asking Troy Ave about this? You're just trying to poison Troy Ave against the jury. So the defense says that it was a BSB affair, that it might not have been Troy Ave directly responsible for it, but Troy Ave is the head of BSB, correct? And this is something that BSB did, correct? So therefore, since this is something that BSB did, and Troy Ave is the head of BSB, then therefore, even though he wasn't directly involved in it, this is just showing that they have a pattern of behavior. And because of this pattern of behavior, that's why my client is right now being on trial, because this same energy that they brought that night is the same energy that they brought on that night. So that's what the defense is trying to argue. But the prosecution says was with BSB, but that was BSB, but that had nothing to do with Troy Ave. That was just a situation that organically happened in the moment. This wasn't a thing that they previously planned. This wasn't a thing like Troy Ave had an issue or a problem with this particular individual. None of these things happened. They just happened to be out of place. There was an argument with a girl that I believe Banger was dating or whatever the case is. And due to that argument, that's how this particular situation transpired. It had nothing at all to do with Troy Ave. So he should not be allowed to ask Troy Ave about these things, because what you're doing is, well, that's what she said. So the defense says they want the jury to know basically that this is the type of violence that Troy Ave and his people bring to the club. So since Troy Ave and his people go out to these clubs, go out to these events, go out to these venues, and this is specifically the type of energy in which they bring, this is why my client is currently on trial. The judge deems that only puts the deceased on trial, and we're not putting the deceased on trial. He says it only goes to the deceased propensity for violence, not Troy Ave's propensity for violence. He doesn't see how this is relevant to the case. So the judge says, I'm not going to let you put the deceased on trial. R.I.P. Banger. Says that the previous acts of violence he was in jail for. This is what the prosecution is trying to say. But the judge is saying, all you're doing is putting the deceased man on trial. He's here on trial for the murder of the deceased man. We're not going to allow for you to put the person on trial that he's on trial for murdering. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. The jury re-enters. We're going to finish with the defense. If anybody was in the courtroom when that happened, let me know if I explained that appropriately. If anybody was in the courtroom when this was happening, let me know if I explained that appropriately. I'm going to read some comments real quick, and then we're going to get back to it. By saying him and Tax were both battling for the trigger, That's a 50-50 on who fired the gun. Good point. Aaron Saunders says, but the person who owns the gun is responsible for 100% of the tragedy. Good point. R.I.P. Banger. There's a lot of R.I.P. bangers in the chat. R.I.P. Banger. Rest in peace. Dark Side says, peace to the chat. Peace to the chat. Peace to Dark Side. Kitten's Touch says, RC, that may be that's what made them add manslaughter at the last moment. Aaron Saunders says, not the last person to hold it. Kitten's Touch says, adding manslaughter option last minute can be a game changer. In whose favor, I don't know. Guess the verdict will answer that. I too lost the Kitten's Touch says, I too lost a brother, so I feel for the fam. Yet I also believe heavily in the burden of proof. There will be no winner no matter the verdict. I'm going to 100% agree with that. I don't think there's a winner no matter what the verdict is. It's still a man that isn't here anymore. Aaron Saunders says, someone throws a punch and is met with a gun, that is not equal force. We don't have, just so we can be clear, we don't have self-defense in New York City. That's one. Two, they're not saying that Troy Ave they're not saying that TAXSTONE got punched. They're saying TAXSTONE got jumped. Aaron Saunders says, first off, in self-defense or use of a gun to justify tax using is no, because any act of self-defense has to be met with equal aggression. Someone throws a punch versus one. We don't have self-defense in New York City, so I'm not sure what you're actually arguing. Yo, what up, Bob? Salute. I went back to your comments and I caught the other comments and I read them. You're asking, are they allowed to introduce lesser charges? I also grew up with Baby Bob. Salute. You're asking, I'm trying to tell you. Shout out to Baby Bob. Also, just so we could be clear, yes, the judge is allowing those charges to be added. So, yeah, it's legal. It's not that there's no self-defense in New York. The burden of proof for self-defense, and the burden for proof of self-defense is so high that your chances of winning a self-defense claim is damn near no. Yeah, Peace King, that's a fact. The chances of winning a self-defense argument is so hard. You understand? It's because it should be hard to win a self-defense case in a big city. It should be difficult. Anyway, the defense initially said, we're going back to what we was doing. The defense initially said that he fired the gun because he saw Tax pulling out the gun, and he says that he misspoke now. He says that he misspoke. He says he remembers the events differently from what he told the grand jury. So basically, when they went to the grand jury to get TAXSTONE to get him, okay, so before you actually go on trial, they got to bring all the evidence they have about you to the grand jury. When they bring all the evidence to the grand jury, what happens then is the grand jury decides if they could take this to trial. So what Troy Ave admitted to is what he told the grand jury and what he's telling everybody today is separate things. It's different. Yes, the judge rules on the lesser charges, I believe, if you're allowed to add them or whatever the case is. At least that's what they were speaking on. So as far as this is concerned, Troy Ave was in front of the grand jury. And when he was in front of the grand jury, he's saying different things than what he's saying right now in front of the actual jury at the trial. The judge then let everybody know that the grand jury testimony is not evidence. His testimony today does not line up. You could use that to evaluate his credibility. So basically the judge is saying if he says something during the grand jury and today he's saying something different, that's up to the jury to decide how credible they think this specific witness is, just so we can be clear. This is important. This is important because remember, the only eyewitness to TAXSTONE doing it is that got on the stand is Troy Ave. That's the only eyewitness to tax that's saying that TAXSTONE fired the gun. Pardon me, I misspoke. The only eyewitness that is saying that TAXSTONE fired the gun is Troy Ave. So when they pointed out, just so we could be clear, so when they, just so we can be clear, let me put this up. It just got to sit there. So just so we could be clear, when the defense pointed out that Troy Ave is saying a totally different story that he told the grand jury than that he's saying right now, not totally different, but it's different, it has variations or whatever the case might be. And Troy Ave is admitting that what he said to the grand jury is different than what he said on the stand. The judge said the grand jury testimony is not evidence. His testimony, if his testimony today does not line up with what he told the grand jury, that's up to the jury on this trial to then evaluate that and decide how credible this witness is. You understand? Remember, one of the things that the defense is saying is that the prosecution told him what to say in order to get a conviction. This is what the defense is saying. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm not saying that that is what happened. I'm not saying that that's not what happened. What I'm saying is the prosecution is actively saying that the defense is saying that the prosecution told Troy Ave what to say in order to get a conviction. Now, also, just so we can be clear, his stories changed from what he said to the grand jury in contrast to what he's saying today or what he said that day in court. It changed. The judge said, and he stopped everything just to make sure that the jury understood this. The grand jury testimony is not evidence. His testimony today, if his testimony today does not line up, then that's up to you to evaluate his credibility, just so we can be clear. What did Dark Side ask? Word, I'm going to look back. I never heard of it before. Peace. What did Dark Side add? His statements were different. Yes. They didn't go entirely through what his statements were and the variations of his statement. But I can tell you one of the variations of his statement is that him and Benga were fighting for the gun. Him and Benga couldn't have been fighting for the gun at the same time from him, because at least now he's not saying that. I don't know what happened. I'm saying now he's not saying that. Now he's saying that he was on the floor over here when the shot went off that he believed shot Benga, removing himself from the struggle when Benga got shot. He's now saying that they weren't all three struggling for the gun when Benga got shot. That's what he initially said. Now he's saying he fell on the floor and he was on the top of people like this. And then while he was looking, that's when Benga, you could see the R.I.P. Benga, that's when you could see the fire come out of the gun. And that's when he assumed or presumed Benga to be getting shot at that moment. Then he jumped up to his feet, and then they started fighting and struggling for the gun. And then he fell again, and then that's when he got shot. And then he jumped back up to his feet, and then they was fighting and struggling again. So that's the variation of the story. And that's a pretty big variation, just so we could be clear. Then they played a video of the Troy Ave shooting. He says Tax was running, stopped, said, "What's popping again?" And that's when he fired at Tax, just so we could be clear. He said Tax was running. Tax stopped while he was running, looked back, said, "What's popping?" And then he fired at him. Now, homegirl, just so we could be clear, have him put the question up about the phone tap again. I'll see if I can answer it. And just so we could be clear, homegirl, Miss Ibrahim, she said that Tax wasn't over there and he doesn't even know who he was shooting at. But in Troy Ave's defense, I will say this. He just got shot and he's been in the middle of a thing, and he might have thought he saw TAXSTONE. He might have thought that he saw him. In his defense, you know, whenever you're going through a situation that's traumatic like that, our brain sometimes does play tricks on us. So I don't really want to argue. I don't think Troy Ave was just shooting at random people. I do believe Troy Ave thought he was shooting at Troy Ave. I mean Casanova. I mean TAXSTONE, pardon me. I do think that Troy Ave thought he was shooting at Casanova. I don't think Troy Ave just was like, I'm going to hit a random person. I don't think that happened. That's just too much. You understand? In any regard, the defense says, because remember, if Troy Ave doesn't fire that gun off, most of these problems go away. What up, Chemo Savi? Darkside Sad says, I haven't heard the phone tap convo, but you did mention something about Cass saying there was, yes, Casanova, there's a telephone message that they played, and Casanova said that Troy Ave shot, that TAXSTONE shot the place up. But Casanova didn't take the stand. So the only person that take the stand that says that they were an eyewitness was Troy Ave. Everything else is secondhand. Chemo Savi, what up? He says, salute Jack Frost. I think there's some loopholes in this story. Might be. Kitten's Touch says, the one with TAXSTONE on the call, I believe he mentioned reasonable doubt on the call, not sure. Yes, there was a telephone conversation where TAXSTONE said that they were going to pay the dude Oscar that actually did take the stand. They was going to pay the dude Oscar, give him everything that he wanted. All they wanted Oscar to say is that he had his hands were full at the moment, so he couldn't have fired the shot. So when the gunfire first went off, his hands was full. He said all they're trying to do is create reasonable doubt. That's a fact. That happened. RC says Tax being desperate on a call to avoid prison forever doesn't make him guilty, in my opinion. I don't think that makes him guilty either, just so we can be clear. If we're talking from a place of honesty, I don't think that makes him guilty. God is good. God is great. Shout out to the Most High. Shout out to the Most High for everything today. Everything that's happened and everything that's gonna happen. Shout out to the Most High. It's a fact. Also, so now the defense says that he told the detective that he got shot in the staircase. So there was a confusion about where Troy Ave actually did get shot at, allegedly in the staircase. And that's not what Troy Ave said. He said that he got shot upstairs, and the guy just wrote the wrong thing down. Says he doesn't remember telling the detective he got shot walking on the stairs. He says that he got shot walking upstairs, something along that line. But I think what he was saying was he was upstairs, and I got shot. Like if you talk to the guy, like, yo, I got shot upstairs. Like, oh, you got shot up the stairs? Like, you understand? So I think that that's where the confusion could have been. Because we all saw him walk out of that room, and it looked like he was walking on a room on bad legs. Like he did get shot in the room. Bruce Banner said, Cass approved the voice recording to the feds. I don't think he would have to approve or disapprove such a thing. So I don't know what Whack 100 is talking about. Whack 100 says a lot of lies, man. I don't really care what he talks about. Yeah, it was Kitten. Like Jack says, the audience literally gasped in the court. Hey, RC, you was in the courtroom? I wonder if the Fed's gonna make class. Well, I don't understand why y'all so busy on bringing that man's name up. This song say he would have murdered Tax. It says middle finger to the stands. Yes, like I said before, if any of these jurors actually go listen to the music that this guy is putting out, Casanova, Troy Ave, TAXSTONE might come back not guilty. I'm just telling you, man. So basically, they talk about the diss song where he says middle finger to Tax, and he talks about from the stands. Judge immediately excuses the jury. Oh, copy. No, they gasped. That's a fact. The judge immediately excuses the jury. They argue over the use of lyrics, only lyrics that apply directly to this case. The jury comes back. So basically, the judge doesn't want people. Okay, so the use of lyrics in the courtroom is a big deal, as everybody knows, right? Let's just be honest. The use of lyrics in the courtroom is a big, big deal. There's the judges know that because of the way the laws are set up, this could be an area or a lane that can open up an appeal. Judges don't like to have anything appealed in their courtroom. Pardon me. So judges are usually trying to be extremely careful. I'm not sure I'm showing up in the morning. So judges are usually generally trying to be extremely careful. They don't want anything appealed in their courtroom. That looks bad on their record. Like you a judge and you got like 10 appeals in 1 year. Niggas gonna be like, you judging wrong. So the jury leaves. They argue over lyrics. I believe the judge says only lyrics that directly apply can be used. So you can't bring in lyrics that don't directly apply to this case. So when the jury gets back, he mentions how Troy Ave said middle fingers to the stands. He agrees. He mentions how in these lyrics he disrespected Banger's family and Hovain. He agrees. He mentioned that there's a clubhouse session where Trife said Banger and Troy knew that Tax was there. Then there's an objection. I believe it got I forget. I didn't write whether it got approved or not. Troy said that he didn't know Tax was there. So I guess it didn't get out. There was an objection, but after the objection, it was the opposite of sustained. I don't know why I can't remember it right now. Troy said that he didn't know that tax was there. Troy said he was suing Irving Plaza because they says that he was attacked. He's suing Irving Plaza for allowing the gun into the premises. He says in the lawsuit he was attacked and that the third party drew a gun after that they were attacked. Troy Ave says his attorney wrote that from his recollection. It was a letter, the letter that they actually spoke about the situation that happened in Irving Plaza where he was doing the suing. His attorney actually wrote the letter. He agrees that he was attacked. Troy Ave is saying he was attacked. Troy Ave says that they knew Tax was on MTV, but he didn't know about any of the other gigs that Tax had. Like, I didn't know he was that big, but I did know he was on MTV. He said that he didn't pay attention about other platforms other than MTV. The prosecution does a redirect, says other people around didn't know what they were doing. He agreed. He says TAXSTONE said that he would put Troy Ave in a wheelchair on social media. That happened. He says he did beat Tax with the pistol, and he says that he did not count the shots while they were fighting. Like he wasn't counting the shots. Like the shots was just going off. And then they introduced People's 4. People's 4 is the third floor layout, and then they pointed out the places where the situation had happened at. And then there was a recourse. He went. The defense came back to ask more questions, and he says that the officer took down the wrong information. They wanted to reassert that, and then said that he told the police he didn't want to get locked into anything concerning the comments. So I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm not trying to infer anything, but I thought this was interesting because he's in the hospital when he's getting interviewed. So he's in the hospital. So at one point he's saying that the officer took down the wrong information. And then at the same time, he's also saying that he didn't want to get locked into anything. So I thought that was interesting. Take that however you want to take that. Then there was a redirect, and he said that they didn't want to be locked into anything over how many shots was fired because, like, he didn't, basically Troy Ave said he didn't know how many shots was fired. So they're busy asking him how many shots he was fired, and that's why he actually said he didn't want to get locked into anything because he didn't know how many shots was fired. Then they continued, and he only knows he got shot when he was on the floor. And then they introduced People's 188, and that was the bite marks that Troy Ave had received. That's the end of Troy Ave's testimony. Is there any questions? What time we got? Oh, it's time for lunch. Is there any questions? And we spent a whole lot of time in this video talking about shit that just had nothing to do with the case. I want to apologize about that right now. It was a long time ago. We was talking about, I had one of my friends coming here from when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Teenager, early 20s. I had one of those friends coming here and we was just talking about shit. In any regard, keep trying to tell you, man. All right, we're going to read some of these comments. I'm going to read them from here. We're going to scroll up some. We're going to start with Bruce. Bruce Banner says, Banger got shot, but was still struggling for the gun. You could see him running out of the video. Kitten's Ton said, wasn't a bad statement to me, Armando. What did Armando say? Troy Lyon, who runs from someone shooting at them and stops and says, what's popping? I'm not saying Troy is or isn't lying, but you know what? A pretty interesting comment. Sharice says, from listening to Tax, I've never heard him use the word what's popping. He always says beloved, what's shaking, beloved. Never heard him say or tweet what's popping. Interesting. Troy Wool says, do you think Troy could have shot Banger? I have no idea. I'm not getting into that. What up, David Roberts? He says overruled. Thank you. I forget the shit sometimes. I forget like simple shit. Shout out to that. Overruled. Kitten's Touch says he wasn't there to give his opinion, guys, simply giving us the facts and what happened in court. This is a fact. Armando says, imagine you getting shot at, you run, but you think about stopping just to say a couple words to a guy shooting at you. Yeah, something I wouldn't believe. Okay, so I'm just going to say this, and I'm not saying that Troy Ave is telling the truth or he's lying. But I was in court, and I'm going to tell you a story that they said about a different Brooklyn nigga. So what's the Treyway dude? His name is escaping me at this moment. He was on trial with Harv. Him and Harv went to trial. They were the only ones that took it to trial. So basically what happened was Nuke. So basically what happened was Nuke had previously, a day or two before, robbed the dude, stole his vehicle and his chains, or something along those lines. The dude sees Nuke walking down the street, and he got one of his young boys in the car with him. The young boy pulls the gun out, and he's so quick to shoot that he don't even roll the window down. He's shooting through the freaking window. While he's shooting at Nuke, Nuke does not go in the other direction. Nuke is trying to get a better look to see who's shooting at him, and is actually going towards the gunfire. That's the way it was described. So it's different to think that a nigga would stop and yell at another dude. I'm not saying I believe that it happened, but I'm not going to say that I think that that's an impossibility. Or so we could be clear. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's something that just could never happen. We got 118 likes in here. Let's hit that like button and see if we could get to 130. Let's see if we get to 130. Send out some more notifications before we get up out of here. Sharice says, on that Clubhouse, it stated that T.I. called them to let them know Tax was there. They knew Tax was there. I don't know. Should they have brought that Clubhouse? Could they have used that as evidence? Could they have put that in evidence? That's like, you're saying all of this stuff that people know, but is this stuff that is just stuff people are saying? Is it quantifiable? Chemo Savi says allegedly. Tax, don't talk like that. On another note, I got to listen to this Clubhouse call. Kitten's Touch. Aaron Saunders says, good points, testimony matters, and evidence matters. Armando Sanchez says, Troy snitching and lying, smart dude, but Tax on his way home. Aaron Saunders says, timelines matter, agreed. Armando Sanchez says, Tax posted a video on IG. Troy and them got a call knowing Tax will be there. They went that night to perform to get at Tax. Unfortunately, someone died that night, and it's all on Troy. If they knew what was going to happen beforehand, I could see how Banger's family might not fuck with Troy. Like, you knew that there was an issue and a problem there, and you went there to exacerbate the situation. I could see that. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I have no idea. Nuke, rob, row, murder. Armando Sanchez says, that's the video I'm talking about. Little Bronx River says, beloved, that's what, and what's popping is used by people like Tax, think people. Armando says they knew he was there. It's irrelevant. What's he supposed to leave and do for, not perform? I don't think the question is whether he was supposed to leave and not perform or not. I think more of the question is, you know what? I'm not here to question. Good comment. Kitty's Touch says there's a reason they don't make certain points. If it's not strong in court, they won't bring it up. Hearsay, that's a fact. Brooklyn Goat said free Tax. R.I.P. Banger, R.I.P. Banger. No, perform and leave. He wanted to get there and beat Tax because they knew he was there. With that being said, if you are enjoying any aspect of the show, you can always pull up to the Cash App or the PayPal and you can also hit the like button. Tax Blue trial when the jury gushed when they heard him trying to trick them into reasonable doubt by trying to pay a witness. Them old people ain't having that. Don't know what to think about that. Pretty good argument, I guess. Shout out to Hudson with the $10 drop. He says, great discussion. Appreciate you. No, I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate all of the yous. We over here trying to give content without having to partner with people that might want to try to encourage me to say one thing or say the other. The more we can stay independent and work this way, the better we don't want to be beholden to anybody, with all due respect. So the reason why a lot of platforms can't say what they want is because to pay the bills, they got to go deal with people or do business with people that make it so that they can only say this or they can only say that, or they have to be friendly to this person or they have to be friendly to that person. The only way platforms like this could stay independent is when we have a community that pulls up to sponsor, pulls up to the Cash App, to the PayPal, that gets our share the video, gets our word out there. That's the only way platforms like this one stay alive. I'm not here to be anybody's puppet. I'm not here to be friending with individuals that's just going to tell me what to say. That shit is not going to fit well with my soul, with who I am as a person. So whenever y'all pull up to show support, especially when it's monetarily, you allow for us to have the freedom to work. And if this is the type of content you want us to do, and if this is the type of stuff that you want us to be able to do, there's no one else doing this. Name me another platform that does what we do over here. Yeah, sometimes I talk about other shit and I go off on it. That's my personality. That's who I am. But at the end of the day, I get y'all the nuts and bolts of it. At the end of the day, I get y'all that gristle. At the end of the day, all I ask, all I can hope for is that the work that we do over here is appreciated to the point where we can continue to do that work. That's all I can hope for. Because the minute that Jack Frost, the BBN Network, is put into a position, and God forbid this ever happens, but put into a position where I have to partner with anybody that now I can't talk about what I want to talk about, people are going to say we changed. But it's going to also be the same people who didn't want to support, just so we could be clear. The same people who didn't want to support is going to be the same people that's going to say Jack Frost changed. So we're over here and we're doing the best work that we can do. And I appreciate everybody that pulls up to the Cash App. I appreciate everybody that hit that like button. We had 128 souls in here today that hit that like button and it still hit. Thank you. I appreciate it. Could we get to 150? We got 182 people in here right now. It'd be nice to get to 150, 160. If we don't, that's fine. But I appreciate everybody that shows support to the platform. And yes, I know sometimes I'm off doing my own thing. I got some videos that I'm supposed to have edited and put out already, and they're interviews, and I haven't had the opportunity to because we be in court. And then when we weren't in court, I'm trying to get the damn computer to work the right way, but we're going to fix that shit. We're going to send that shit to Fios. Fios is going to send it back in 2-3 months. So in like a month and a half, 2 months. So right now I'm going to try to get one of the interviews out. Shout out to Chase Sims. I'm going to try to get one of the interviews out, and at least a good portion of it. And then we're going to go try to get this computer worked on so it could come back and we could get back to all of the works that we like to do. I appreciate you guys to a degree that I cannot even explain. It's cold outside today. We are not going outside to do nothing today except for go get lunch. I already got dinner in there. You know what I'm gonna eat. So we're gonna go get lunch, and then I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we might go live in the middle of the day today. Hopefully we go live in the middle of the day, maybe around 3, 4, maybe a little bit later. But I hope we go live in the middle of the day for like an hour or two, and then after that, maybe I gotta arrange. I gotta finish arranging. That was in tissue and shit. I gotta finish arranging so that when we get our 10-minute videos out, I gotta start writing my scripts. So we have a lot of stuff that we're doing over here. I hope everybody appreciate what we're doing, and if you don't, that's fine too. It really is. There's a big portion of the middle of this video where my homie came in that I grew up with, and we was talking about how it was in the Bronx when we was growing up. So I just want to say something real quick. It feels, most of the dudes I know, most of the people I grew up with, we not jumping on the internet type niggas. I just do this shit. For the people who love this platform, y'all need to show appreciation to Kendra, because I was not gonna do this. I was trying to figure out how to do this without ever showing my face or my voice. I was not gonna do this. Kendra convinced me to do this. Kendra convinced me to do this. The dudes I grew up with, we're not really these internet type of shit. This is really not us. We don't do this. Kendra convinced me to do this because I used to basically drive around in the car doing the show for her. Shout out to homegirl. I'm getting a lot of posts from her right now. This just might be her time of the day to post. For everybody that don't know, that's Boosie's niece. There you go. She at LSU right now. And as soon as that's Boosie's niece, for everybody that don't know. Getting a lot of posts sent directly to me from her at the moment. Y'all was hearing it go off like crazy. It's just going off like crazy. So I want to appreciate everybody that's actually pulling up to the platform. Like I said before, I'm only kicking people that's coming here talking crazy about me personally. If you coming in here and you got whatever opinion you have it. It is what it is. I don't have no dog in no fight. But if you come in here and you talking crazy about me, I don't want to see it. I'm just going to kick you. I don't got time for that. With that being, and I don't want that energy around me. And I don't want that energy around other people. I just don't want that energy around us. So yeah, I'm kicking those people. With that being said, I'm thinking about doing the for everybody, so I can let y'all know now. We're looking at that. So our numbers might really go up in a minute. We're looking at that Donald Trump case. Donald Trump said he's going to be arrested on Tuesday. If Donald Trump ends up going to court and there's a court case in New York with Donald Trump, we covering it, just so you know. We're going to be covering the Donald Trump. And we're also looking to cover the K-Flock. But that might be a little bit more difficult if K-Flock is in the Bronx. Because I might not be able to keep making it to that. Because that's like, for me to get there, that's like 2 hours from me. Probably further. Like, you understand? So, but if it's in the Bronx courthouse, we might still make it out to the K Flock. It is what it is. Shout out to Team Modal. Salute. We might still make it out to K Flock. It is what it is. But we looking to cover Trump and K Flock. That's what we looking to cover in the near future. I don't know when the K Flock is gonna be, so please don't ask me. I don't have the slightest idea. I do not know when the K Flock is gonna be. Please don't ask me. But Trump will be getting arrested soon. And I don't expect for Trump to be going. First of all, they just don't want him to be able to run for president. Just so everybody knows. Yeah, obviously, they just don't want him to run for president. But they will vote for people that want to turn boys into girls. And girls into boys. So I don't know what to tell you. This world is completely backwards. I'm not a Trump advocate. I am not a Trump advocate. Nas EBK too. We might cover that. I am not a Trump advocate, just so we can be clear, but I think it's absolutely insanity that our people that's supposed to love us as black people and guide us in ways of politics encourage us to vote for people who are going so directly against the word of the Lord. Like directly. I'm not even talking about homosexual type stuff, just so we can be clear. I do believe that people have the right to make whatever choice they want to make. But once we start talking about children, that's just totally different. Like, so if you're talking about a man having the right to turn himself into a woman, it is what it is. If you're talking about a woman having the right to turn themselves into a man, it is what it is. But when we're talking about a little kid turning themselves from a boy to a girl, from a girl to a boy, I have issue with that. And that just is what it is. But when we're talking about completely grown adults making whatever their grown adult decision is, I do not have an issue with that. That's a decision that you're making as a grown adult. But once we start saying that a child, one day a child want to be a firefighter, the next day a child want to be a leopard, the next day a child wants to be a freaking eagle, the next day a child wants to be a Voltron. So what in the hell, fam? Like, what are you doing? They can't even understand the extent of their decisions. So in my opinion, when you're talking about grown adults changing whatever they want to change, you could do what you want. But when you're advocating that children, and just so we can be clear, this is 100% what Biden is advocating. When you're advocating for children to be able to change their genders, I'm just not here for that. I'm sorry. But if we're talking about grown adults, I have no say in that. I have no opinion in that. I have no opinion. I have no say. So I don't want nobody to think I'm going against people that's a part of the LGBTQ community. I'm just saying, remember, we're not supposed to sexualize children, because we're not. That's just, what the fuck are you doing? But at the same time, you're allowing children to change their sex. Sounds like you're sexualizing children, homie. What did I say, Ken? I'm just saying, we're not supposed to sexualize children, which we aren't. That's what in the hell, fam? But at the same time, you have these Democrats saying that children should be allowed to change their gender, their sex. It sounds to me like you're sexualizing children. With that being said, it's time for lunch. I love y'all. Go do something productive today. Just something productive. Also remember, God first, as always. Let's say what the word is real quick before we walk out of here. Excuse me. Did they send me something today? They had to send me something. Corinthians 13. verse 13, line 7. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. I think there's more to that. Let me just dub some of this stuff right here so I can pull that down real quick. Okay, that's the whole passage. 1 Corinthians 13, line 7. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Amen. Look, let's try to do the Most High's word as best as we can. Nobody's expected to be perfect. That's just not a possibility. But we could try our best to do the best that we can. And that's what we're supposed to be doing out here. Just trying our best to do the best that we can. With that being said, like, comment, subscribes, join the notification game. Hashtag Bronx Boomers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one.